Okay. Okay, everyone. Good evening. We're about to begin. Tonight we're learning with the intention to fix the coronavirus in the entire world. And I mean it. I'm not kidding. One person can start it. So one person and all of us can heal it. One person sneezes and puts the whole airplane in trouble, and from there it spreads to who knows how many places. So we can fix the coronavirus from Maayon Yisroel in Los Angeles tonight, and that's what we're going to do. And there's a connection. I haven't been feeling well, and I wouldn't teach this mimer tonight. 45 minutes ago, I thought I'm not going to teach. But I did learn this about a week ago, Shabbos, very quickly, very briefly, and it even though I didn't learn it well, it sparked in me, and it got me excited. And then when I took it out today, and I was reading a little bit because I wasn't in the best state of whatever, so it didn't work for me. I was tired. I learned a little, and then I went to sleep. I wasn't here. Then, literally 20 minutes ago, I'm reading through the mimer quickly, and I realized that this is the healing for the coronavirus. That's why I'm teaching it tonight, even if it's a long mimer. Why? Obviously, the coronavirus has something to do with Mashiach. There's no doubt that something like this that suddenly has captured the attention of the entire world in a time when we spoke so much about the year and the awesomeness and the time that we're in right now, and Israel has no government, which is again an indication, with all the elections and all that. It's clear that we're right at the threshold of the redemption. So it's clear that this is some kind of a something. I'd like to think that it's not part of the redemption, but it's part of some kind of a klipa that pops up right before the redemption, because redemption is not about illnesses and about viruses. That's not redemption. Redemption is good, light, bracha, health, life, not death. So this is some kind of a klipa that's maybe meant to wake up the world and cause a certain tshuva. I don't know. It has been said, and people asked me, and I didn't innovate this, that the word corona comes from the word crown. So it's related to crowning Mashiach. It's and somehow it's related. Could be, again, we learn in Chassidus that we're supposed to always look into the name, and the name of something is always revealing, and everything is b'hashgacha pratis, by divine providence. The fact that they called it corona is related to keter, crown in English, and that's what Mashiach is. Mashiach is the revelation of the supernal crown. The level of keter, the level of the crown, is revealed. Now, the opposition to the crown, the force that fights the crown, is Amalek. Amalek is what Hashem says, my name will not be complete, my throne will not be complete until Amalek is erased. Amalek is the antithesis to the Yud Kei Vav Kei. By what? By blocking the revelation of the crown, as we're going to learn in the Maimer. In other words, he doesn't allow Keser to be revealed in the Yud Kei Vav Kei, in the Sfirot, in the attributes, thereby causing all kinds of disconnect and all kinds of severance and all kinds of rebellion and all kinds of sin and so on and so forth. When Mashiach is coming, everything spiritual is manifesting in physical. So this ultimate final virus of Amalek, right before Purim, is suddenly plaguing the world. So the way to fix that is to learn the mimer about the eradication of Amalek, which is all about restoring the harmony between all the Sfirot and its original quintessential infinite source, Keser, the crown. Bringing the Keser to be revealed in the Yud Kei Vav Kei. When you have that, there is no Amol, there is no corona, there is no virus. There's no room for it. It doesn't have any achiza, it doesn't have any grasp. It's completely eliminated and it's gone forever. So It's also interesting that the way another name for the virus is, I think, COVID, COVID 19. 19 is an interesting number because 19 is the gematria of Chava, the woman, which according to Kabbalah, according to the mystical tradition, Chava is the Shechina, the level of Malchus. Her gematria is 19. It's the inside of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud Kei Vav Kei is gematria 26. The tetragrammaton is gematria 26. But if you do the milui, what's the milui? What's the inside of the Yud Kei Vav Kei? That means if you take the outside letters away, no, if you count also the inside letters, the Yud has Vav and a Daled, the Hey has Hey is Hey Aleph, so on and so forth, you get 45. 45 is Yud Kei Vav Kei if you count the inside letters. If you subtract the outside letters and you only leave the inside letters, the filling, that's 19. Because it's 19 plus 26 is 45. So Chava, 19, that represents the Miloi, the revelation, that's Malchus. The whole point of Mashiach is that Keser should be revealed in Malchus. That Malchus is our world. Malchus is the final material and physical creation. Olam Asiyah Hagashmi, the physical world. Keser is the God himself. And the whole inyan is that Corona, the Keser, should be Nizgala in 19, which is down here in Malchus, in the actual world. Being that this is the Klippa, the virus that comes right before Mashiach comes, scaring the entire world. So it makes sense to say that it's the antithesis to the Hizgalus of Keser Malchus, which is the Keser of Mashiach Tzidkenu, which is the crown of Mashiach, which means in each and every one of us that our thought, speech, and action, which is our Malchus, our expression to the world, should be completely unified with the deepest inner core. It should be aligned with who we are at our essence. And who are we at our essence? Completely nullified and one with Hashem. That's our Keter, that's our crown. So the Keser, the deepest point and the most external point, should make contact with each other, and that's the antithesis to coronavirus. So by us learning this Maimer tonight, may it be the merit that these waves of Chassidus, of light and of truth, should bring healing to the entire world. And I believe it, B'emunah Shalema, that one Maimer, the whole world can be healed. And there's actually a source to that in Pirkei Avos. And I didn't even think about all of this before I opened my mouth. But this is happening right while I'm teaching right now, because this is, I think, needs to be said. Here's the amazing thing. The Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, Basara Dvarim, Basara Mamaris Nivra Ha'olam. With 10 utterances, the world was created. The world was created with 10 utterances. So the Gemara asks, but then the Mishnah asks in Pirkei Avos, the 5th chapter in Pirkei Avos, the world could have been created with one utterance. Why does God have to speak 10 utterances? He definitely could have done it in one. And the Gemara gives an answer. But Chassidim have a play on those words. On the words b'maimer echad yachal lihi baris, Chassidim have a vertal. They have and when Chassidim say something, it's not just a joke. It's very deep. It's real. Lihi baris means to be created, but in Aramaic, lihi baris means to be healed. To heal something. When someone is a healthy person, he's called a bari. A bari is a healthy person in Aramaic. Or chas v'shalom, the opposite, he's chayla. He's ill. Or he is a bari, a healthy person. So, v'aloi b'maimer echad yachalihi baris, Chasidim taich, in one maimer, when you learn one maimer, you can be completely healed. V'aloi b'maimer echad, with one maimer yachalihi baris, you can be healed. But since the Mishnah is talking about the entire world, so that world of 10 utterances could be healed with one mimer. And precisely, it's not my mimer, it's the Alter Rebbe's mimer. And the Alter Rebbe's mimer can heal the entire world. So I pray, and I hope that everybody should learn with intention tonight. If you're listening online, wherever you are, that this mimer that we're learning right now should already bring healing to the entire world. The whole thing should just disappear, and we should already have the happiest Purim and the great light and the great revelation of Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Kesser should be revealed down here. Everybody that needs individual healing, all those who have been contacted Corona, or all those that are just whatever kind of aspect, any healing that is needed, all healing should come. Let's learn. Chayav, Inish, Libsumei, Bepuria. Where is this mimer from? Let me give you a little introduction. We probably learned this discourse already. I'm almost 100% sure we did. We didn't learn it in this book. We learned it the other version. We learned the version in Torah Or. Usually we learn Torah Or, Lakuti Torah. Those are the selected maimarim of Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the Alter Rebbe, that we learn. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say something. Today I was in the other room, and I didn't see it. I saw Lakutei Maran from Reb Nachman. Someone left it here. I got so excited. I took it out, and I just read a passage. I read a few passages, coolest things. So one of the things that I read that got me so excited is related, because I mentioned that Chava is the Shechina. I mentioned Chava is the Shechina. Because she comes from Adam. Adam is the masculine and Chav is feminine, right? Female. She represents the Shechina, and we know that all the Jewish biblical figures all represent the Shechina. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, and of course Esther Hamalka is the Shechina. So Reb Nachman says a short little statement. It's just so amazing. He says, if you want to know the status of the Shechina, go listen to the women talking. When you hear the women talk, it's obviously me listening to the women talking and someone else listening would not hear the status of the Shechina. But Reb Nachman says, you listen to the conversations of women, you'll know where the Shechina is holding. That's what he says. Why? It says, Mordechai mishalech, Mordechai would walk, lifnei chatzar beis hanoshim, he would walk in front of the courtyard of the women, ladas es shloim Esther, to know the peace, the status of Esther. Who's Esther? He says, the Shechina. So Mordechai would walk next to the women's quarters to listen in, to eavesdrop to what the women are talking, to know how is the Shechina doing. I just thought that's great. Anyways, back to what we're saying over here. So usually we learn Torah Or, and in Torah Or we have the Maimarim of the Alter Rebbe that the Tzemach Tzedek selected. In addition to that, there is a sefer called Siddur Imdach. It's a siddur where the Mittler Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe's son, selected also Maimarim from his father, but those that he himself wrote. He was one of the writers. There were other writers. The Mittler Rebbe, as we spoke many times, has his own style. It's usually more elaborate. So the Mittler Rebbe collected a bunch of Maimarim, discourses from his father, relating to davening, relating to the siddur. But we know a siddur is not only used during the weekday, it's used on Shabbos, and it's also used, you have, when comes Hanukkah, you take out the siddur, so you know what brachas you make when you light the menorah. Comes Pesach, you look in the siddur. So there is also Maimarim on all the holidays there. His father's Maimarim. In Purim, and it's called Shar, there's Shar Sukkot, Shar Halulav, Shar Hatkiyos, Rosh Hashanah, Shar Yom Kippurim. Each Yom Tov has a Shar, has a portal. Usually there's 3 or 4 Maimarim for every Yom Tov. Purim only has one Maimar, one discourse, and that's this one. So now they reprinted the Siddur in the most gorgeous, phenomenal print. And I just received it 2 weeks ago, and I got excited. That's why I took out the Sefer 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever. And I said, I got to learn my new book. I had an old version, but that one is old Rashi letters. It's hard to read. This one is like, it pulls you to read. It's hard to close the book. It makes it so much easier to read it and so on. So I made, these are the copies from, I didn't physically, whatever. You can download it from Hebrew Books as well. This is the mimer from the Siddur. So it's a mimer that we learned already many years ago. I'm sure no one remembers. Can I guess? I don't know if we learned it 12 years ago, 13 years ago, or 7 years ago. I don't know. But in any case, it doesn't hurt to learn the Mittler Rebbe's mimer version of his father's mimer, Chayav Inish Libsumei Bepuria, and as I said before, with all the spiritual power that we're going to unleash into the cosmos right now. Let's go. Chayav Inish Libsumei Bepuria. The Gemara says a person has to become intoxicated on Purim, Ad lo yada, until he will not know, bein orid haman, In other words, the level of intoxication where you have to distort your mind by drinking alcohol. That's the simple meaning. To a point where you don't know the difference between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai. You can't tell the difference. So obviously that passage needs understanding. What does this mean? Since when do we encourage intoxication and drunkardness? Obviously this is a very high level. What this really basically means, according to the Alter Rebbe, is that you have to lift yourself up beyond all the expressions of your soul. The highest expression of your soul is your mind. These are the powers of your soul, and you have to get into your essence. And once you're in your essence, you don't exist as an independent being. You're completely nullified and one with God. That's the level of Keser. And that's Mashiach. When you're incubated in the essence of your soul, in that state of incubation, there's no virus. Because you're protected, you're incubated, you're safe. You're in a safe zone. Amalek can't exist. Amalek can only exist if your relationship with God is through your mind. If your relationship with God is through your emotions. It's through your expressed self. It's through a place where you have already a sense of existence. And now, you as a being, you as a Yachka Bedam, you as a whole Metzias, you as whoever you are, I am now recognizing God and I'm forging a bond with Him. Such a relationship can chas v'shalom. It doesn't mean it's not a good relationship. It's a good relationship, but then you can chas v'shalom be in conflict with Amalek. So the idea of Purim is you gather yourself in from the external, from your expressed self, and you go deep and deep and deep and deep. You open up the recesses and the recesses and the recesses of your soul. You go so deep into your soul until you find your core essence, where you and Hashem are completely one, where you experience the pure infinite light, and that's Keser, and that's the Ein Sof, and that's it. And then there's no Amalek, and that's healing for the world, and so on and so forth. The Rebbe is going to tell us that in exile, in the time of exile, we need to take a shot at two in order to do that. In other words, when we're not in Golus, when Mashiach stays, we'll have access to that deepest point without alcohol. But in Golus, we have to take a couple of swigs in order to be able to lift ourselves out of the constrictions and the limitations to be able to get to that inner point. It doesn't say that we should do this all the time, but on Purim is the time when we have to go to that, because that's the time that calls for such a deep connection. And obviously when we connect on Purim that way, we have that level of connection which protects us all year long from Amalek. And we get rid of Amalek on then, and also we're in that, we carry that with us even when we're not intoxicated. But that's the idea. So you already learned the whole Maimer, okay? Ksiv, it says, Ki yad al keis ka mulcham al Hashem b'Amalek. There is a pasuk that says, there is a hand in Parshas B'Shalach. We're going to read it on Purim. This Shabbos is Parshas Zohar. We're going to read Parshas Kiseitze, where there is a mitzvah that we should eradicate Amalek. But on Purim itself, on Tuesday morning, before the Megillah, we're going to read Parshas B'Shalach, where there the Torah relates how Amalek came and encountered and waged war against the Jewish people. So over there, God, you immediately see Hashem's reaction is very intense. Very intense. You never see Hashem get so rallied up from anything else but Amalek. For some reason, the pasuk says that God says, tell Yeshua, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, tell Yeshua, put it in his ears, that Ki mochai emcha, I'm going to race Amalek. I'm going to fight him tooth and nail, God says. And then Hashem says, Ki yod al keis ka. There is a hand on God's throne. That means Hashem, which Rashi explains it means, that God placed his hands on his throne to swear. He raised his hand up. When a person makes an oath, you watch. When a person goes, they say, raise your right hand and take an oath in court. God raised his right hand up, and then he put it on his throne to swear, to make an oath by his throne that what? That he's going to fight against Amalek forever until he's going to destroy them. Okay, and the pasuk says. Ki yod. I will say that you have to listen to the introduction of this year, but that's good. not for the understanding of the shir, but the understanding of the purpose of the shir. The Eibishter's hand is on his throne. Milchama la'Hashem ba'Amalek. He's going to fight Amalek midor dor from generation to generation, and it means from the first generation of the Jewish people, which was Moshe Rabbeinu's generation, until the very last generation. That's what the Targum says, until Mashiach's generation. The last war, the eradication of coronavirus. This is Amalek. The war, the destruction of it, the eradication of it, which we're standing right by right now. In any case, but I mean also the spiritual corona. That's the power behind the physical one. But in any case, what does the pasuk say? The Eibishter's hand is on his throne. So the words, interesting, the Chazal noticed, and the Medrash says, or it's a Gemara, it's a Medrash, I'm not sure which one it is, where the Chazal say that if you take a look carefully on the words, you'll see that it says, Ki yad, there is a hand, al case, on the throne, ka, of Hashem. It doesn't say, now the case doesn't mean a throne. Kisei is a throne. But the pasuk doesn't say kisei. The pasuk says kisei without an aleph. It omits the aleph. It's only there's only a word, this case, without a aleph. So the Gemara is wondering what happened with the aleph. And the same is also when it says Hashem's name, it doesn't say ki yad al case havaya, that there's a hand on the case, on kisei, on the throne of Yudke Vavke. It says there is a hand on the throne of Yudke, and it doesn't mention Vavke. So we need to understand, why is it omitted both 2 letters of God's name and 1 letter of God's throne, the Aleph? So the Gemara says what it means is, V'amar Chazal say, it's a Medrash Tanchuma, it's a Midrash, She'ein Hashem Shalem, the Eibishter's name is incomplete, Ve'ein HaKisei Shalem. His name is incomplete, is simple. There's only Yudke, there's no Vavke. So Hashem says, my name is not complete until Amalek is erased. Ve'ein HaKisei Shalem. My throne is not complete. My throne is missing the Aleph. Ache Yimche Zare Shel Amalek. Until any remnant of Amalek is still here, Hashem's name is not complete. To understand what does this mean? She'ein Hashem Shalem ve'ein HaKisei Shalem. What does it mean that the name is not complete? And what does it mean that the throne is not complete? What does this mean? The throne and his name. Obviously, there's much deeper meaning over here. So that means Amalek affects the name of God. And obviously that's why Mashiach can't be here. Because the complete manifestation of godliness in the world requires Hashem to have a name. And his name to be revealed, which is the Yud Kei Vav Kei. And his name has to sit on a throne, which means his presence and his thing has to sit on a throne. And if the throne is defected, so his name is defected and his throne is defected, so he can't sit and he can't reveal himself in the world. So that's the reason why we need to get rid of Amalek, and then Hashem's name will not be impeded, won't be obstructed by anything. So for behold it says, so in order to understand this, the Rebbe is going to begin by explaining that Amalek is considered the beginning of all Klippa, and he's also the end of all Klippa. He's at the beginning and he's at the end. So what does that mean? In Iksiv it says in the Pasuk, Reishis Goyim Amalek. Amalek is the beginning of nations. Va'achrisoi Adei Oived. And his end is eventually to be erased. Adei Oived is his end is that he will be erased. That's what Bilam said. After Bilam was prophesying about the end of time, it says over there, he turned to Amalek, he saw Amalek, and he said, Reishis Goyim Amalek. Amalek is the beginning of all nations. Rashi says it means that he was the first one to come oppose the Jewish people, but then in the end, he will also be destroyed. In the end of days, V'achrisai, at the end, he will be destroyed. Amalek cannot make it into the days of Mashiach. Amalek is going to be eradicated. So now the Rebbe is over explaining what does it mean spiritually. He's going to show us that Amalek is a type of klipa that is an enabler. Amalek is the klipa that enables all other klipos. It's the facilitator of all other klippas. It's a very benign and subtle klippa. It's not a very definable and despicable evil that you can really look at it and say, ugh, it's really horrible. Amalek, at its core, he's very, very subtle. And that's the meaning that he's the rashis, he's the beginning. But God forbid if a person allows this already for himself to allow this type of consciousness, this type of mindset in life, then you're already opening the door, God forbid, to fall into the worst things. Just allowing the Amalek klipa in. Amalek is a subtle infection. That's right. It's like we can see when we talk about now the virus. Person has no clue. They contacted something. They breathed the air together with someone else on a plane, right? Or they touched something, and then they, touched their mouth, and they took something in. And I got anything. And for 2 weeks, they don't even know they have anything. And suddenly, they'll start not feeling well, God forbid, and they. So that's what Amalek. Amalek is a very subtle thing. You might even not know that you were infected with it. That's why you need to learn Chassidus to open up one's consciousness to very subtleties. Amalek is a very subtle beginning. But from Amalek comes the worst illnesses, the worst klippas, the worst spiritual maladies and dark things. But Amalek appears again in the system of a person's experience. He appears all the way at the beginning. Then the other nations fester and feed off him. And then finally, when it comes to the end, which means the ultimate execution and manifestation of evil, is again Amalek. So what he's reading in this pasuk is a gavaldige inyan. Reishis goyim Amalek. Amalek is the beginning of where all disconnect from the Eibishter starts. And then a person can be infected by the infections of all the other dark klippas, the 70 nations, which are rooted in the 7 core dark nations that lived in the land of Canaan that the Jews needed to conquer and to transform. Those nations represent each one a certain type of darkness, a certain type of corruption, a certain kind of a corruption. But those the interesting thing, a person can be infected with the disease of haprizi. You can be, God forbid, very, very, very filled with prizi corruption. But it will not lead the person to actually do something against God. The actual sin itself, which means to actualize it, Amalek needs to come back in to push you over, to push the person over that red line to act the ra out, to do it, to actually do it. And we'll see how he develops that. That's the meaning that Amalek is at the beginning and that Amalek reappears for the final act. Okay. Pidish. So we'll understand it first from understanding in Kedusha and holiness, because Klippa doesn't have anything original. Klippa is just an imitator. It's like a monkey. And a monkey just imitates. So Klippa is an imitator. What's its imitation? So everything. So in Kedusha, there is what we call, the Eibishter refers to himself, Ani Rishon, I am the first, Vani Acharon, and I'm the last. And Amalek is the antithesis, Tani Rishon, I am the beginning and I am the last. So what does that mean? One opposite the other, the Eibishter did. V'hinei b'kedusha k'sev, in holiness it says, Ani Rishon v'ani Acharon. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam kol nimi dvarim. Sorry for the candy. I just hope it's going to stop my coughing. In holiness it says, I am the first and I am the last. Pirish, what is the meaning? Ani Rishain, I am the first. The first level means that it's the first exit, that God is exiting, so to speak, his very self to emanate energy for creation. That's called Sovev Kalama. The energy is not at all yet adapted and adjusted to the specifics of the world, to the specific creations. It's one powerful universal power to give existence. The Eibishter's power of beingness, that the Eibishter he emanates a power of beingness, of his beingness. But the fact that he's emanating that light outward is the idea that it's a source to the outside. It's a source to create. But it's not adjusted to the finite elements of creation. It's still infinite. It's called Rishon because it's the first step, so to speak, in the process of existence, in the process of creation. So that's Ani Rishon. And then what's Ani Acharon? So he explains. Piddush Ani Rishon, I am the first. It's still beyond any type of flow, any type of influence, and any type of flow from nothing to something, which means it's not ready yet to create something. It can't create yet a creation from nothing to something. Why can't it create something yet? Because it's still infinite. A yesh will be a limited being. So the energy still has to go through a whole process of tzimtzumim, contractions, and enter what we call from the soivit kalaman, from the encompassing energy, into the mamala kalaman, which is the specified light and adjusted light, to create the minute details of creation. So that's the next stage. But now the energy is still on a level that is still higher than any form of particular existence. Vani acharoin, and I am the last. What does it mean, I am the last? What does that refer to? God extending down, down, down to produce the final product. On the one hand, we can say to produce the actual creation in general. But even deeper than that, in creation itself, there's multi levels of existence. There's spiritual worlds and lower worlds and so on. Your Atzilus, your Bria, Yetzira, Asiya goes lower. And in Olam Asiya itself, there's Olam Asiya Ruchni, the world of completion that's spiritual, and then there's Olam Asiya Gashmi, the physical material world. In the physical world itself, there is heaven and there's earth, which heaven is more spiritual than earth. Even the sky is more spiritual than earth. And earth becomes denser and denser. In earth itself, there are creatures that are like deep in the earth. They're like so, like the last and final creatures of existence, you can say. They're like the deadest things in existence. I don't know what there is less than earth, but I don't know what he's exactly referring to, but he's talking for things that are like at the very, the last thing that God created, so to speak. They're at the bottom. And we say that the Eibishter, his energy, his life force, descends all the way down. It's not like he hired a company to finish up the last stuff. He himself, and that's the meaning of mitachas zroyais olam, beneath the arms of the earth, or what we mean that the Eibishter's zroyais, the Eibishter's arms, go down mitachas olam, beneath the world. What does that mean? This is the Eibishter's hands stretching out, means the farthest outstretch, where his hands reach further and further. Hamashpili ma'oid lamata. The Eibishter lowers himself down very much below. Mata, below. Lishavos bruyim hashfelim. To create creatures that are very low. Biyoser she'metachas la'aretz. Creatures that are very, very low, that are beneath the earth. Shua achris be'ishtalshalus. Which this is the achris. This is the final thing in ishtalshalus. The very, very end. So there too we say, in a sense it's interesting, he says, creatures that are below the earth. I guess these I don't know what, all the bugs and stuff that live in the earth. So these are final creatures. So the Eibishter himself descends, so to speak, and directs his energy into such minute detail to create these little creatures. So Gamken, you should know, Ani, it's the same me. In other words, it's the Eibishter directing his energy down. But by the way, you should know that even that final, most constricted, so to speak, energy is still one with the very same Ani, which is Ani Rishon. It's not like Hashem has many pieces to him. It's one Ani. Here he is in a removed, transcendental Soivev state, and the very same Ani is manifesting as Ani Acharoin, as the tiny little energy that's in this little ant that's creeping below the earth. Same Ani. So just like we see over here, that the Eibishter is in a state of what? What does Rishon mean? Rishon mean above any description. It's the first state of a force that the Eibishter emits of himself, but it's still above any type of yesh, any specific. It's a power. And we know the Soiviv is the power of everything, but it's still beyond everything. And what's the Ani Acharoin? Ani Acharoin is God being the most detailed to the final product. So the same is also regarding Amalek in Klippa and holiness. Amalek is that first breakaway from God, that first energy that's not defined yet by any definitions of evil. It's not doing anything bad. It's still completely innocent, completely there. But it's that attitude, it's that klippa, it's that concealment on the Eibishter that's allowing for everything, all the specific types of rebellions and all the specific types of darknesses and evils and wickedness and corruptions to happen. It's all coming from that one element. Like we know Chazal say that Amalek cooled the bathtub. He cooled it, you know. Sometimes you have someone in a company, let's say, or in a classroom, it could be in anything, who never gets busted by the teacher. You know? He's always okay, he never did anything. But he is the one who creates the entire attitude for people to disregard the rules, to do that. With the most subtlest of subtleties. He doesn't do anything, but yet he creates that vibe. So that's Amalek. It creates that first initial, whatever we'll see in the Mimer what that means. But then Amalek is again, what is he? Ani Acharoin. He's at the point of actualizing every darkness into the manifest production, final production. That is a Yuvim Beklippa will understand as existing Klippa Dezelu Umazeh, one opposite the other Hashem made. The Zayim Midas Haras the Noiga, the 7 impure midos of Noiga, which these 7 impure midos, these are the root of all. There are 7 forces of emotion in the world. Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. They exist in Kedusha, they exist in Klippa as well. So the Klippa, at least in its initial stages, is called Noiga. Noiga means it's not yet real evil, it's still a mixture of good and bad. The next level is Shalish Klippas Atmeis, when it's really evil, the 3 impure Klippas. But just understand the idea of Noiga is Klippa at its earlier stages. But that's where the corruption starts. In Klippas Noiga, there are 7 midos, because the whole structure of existence is built on these 7 midos. So for instance, there is holy love, which is holy chesed, and there's corrupted love. It's a love, but it's an unhealthy love. It's a dangerous love. Okay? There's a lust, for instance. That's not love, but that's corruption of love. The same as also in Gevurah. There's holy might, holy strength, standing up for something that in a good way, and then there is strength in a corrupted way, so on and so forth. So the Zayin Midos, they are like the 70 nations, or the 7 nations that lived in the land of Canaan. HaKnani v'Achiti. Knani is corrupted chesed, and then Chiti, each one is a corrupted other thing. So all of these, you should know that he says, Yesh Lahem Reishis, they have a beginning. They have to feed off somebody. They can't just pop out of nowhere. It doesn't go from chesed to kedusha, from loving God to suddenly just loving something that's dark. It doesn't go that way. There has to be a source. They have to have a source, which from there they emerge, they evolve into a revealed state from nothing to something. That means, here's an amazing thing, that their source is still a level of nothing. It's not yet yesh. In other words, when you can identify it as a corrupted love, or a corrupted, gevura, or a corrupted victory, perseverance, or whatever it is, or a corrupted malchus, whatever it is, these, once you can identify that, that's already the 7. This or that. We're talking a state where it's beyond a yesh. It's not yet a yesh. It's still in a level of ayin. But that's where they come from. They're emerging from an ayin state. And this is their makif. This is their encompasser. And this is the meaning of Reishis Goyim, the beginning of nations. Hareishis shalazayin amamim, the beginning of the 7 nations. V'hamakor shalahem, and their makor, mebchina soiviv, in a level of soiviv. So who is that? Who Amalek? So this is Amalek. So Amalek is the soivev kol almin chas v'sholem, so to speak, for all the klippas. Rachmana litzlan. He is their general power. V'achrisoi, what does it mean? His end. Adei oived, what does that mean? Then when the 7 midos go lower and lower, which means, we said before, a person can have a misguided love. It can start off a little bit selfish, a little bit. It's not really bad, but if you indulge and you don't control it and you don't fix it, from a little selfish indulgence, it becomes worse indulgence and worse indulgence and worse indulgence, and then chas v'shalom, person becomes an addict and goes into the worst things. Falls. So there's very levels of how a emotion gets corrupted, how it becomes darker and darker. But then when it reaches rock bottom, in a really, really, really dark place, it touches it. It meets up again with Amalek. What does it mean? The essence of the evil that is in every bad midah. And he explains, every negative trait, as it is in its natural state, in other words, without mixing again with Amalek, it's not so bad. When you're not activating it, when you're not in a state of a pa'ula. For example, avera. Person can have a bad love, a misguided love, a unhealthy love. Betaiva zara. Person has a taiva, a lust, a foreign lust. It can be burning in his heart. He wants to go ahead and do something very not kosher. He's burns him and burns in him. Sheyashna betiva dayan. It's in its natural state, which means it's in the heart. It's not so bad. But when he'll go and act upon it, and go ahead and follow the desire of his heart, God forbid, and when his taiva becomes so intense that he doesn't control it, till he reach, and it's interesting, it's at that moment when he's actually going to do the sin, that's when the full power of its ra, of its evil, of its thing, it's not just that he's doing it. It's the midah reaches its full oomph, and it exposes its depth of depravity when it comes into actualization. That's the idea. It's interesting. He starts with taiva, and somehow he switches over to anger. You can see it also very easy to when you deal with people that have temper issues. Okay, so as long as a person can be an angry person. They have a temper, and their heart swells with anger many times a day. They get very upset about something, and they suddenly get an anger attack. But as long as it's in their heart, mela. But then they throw a temper tantrum. That means it gets executed. It goes and they take a glass and they shatter it, or something like that. They broke a chair, or they yelled and said the worst, kinds of, words and things like that. Oh, that's when it's like the ra comes out and all its viciousness, which as long as they're dealing with it in their heart, it's not a good thing to have, and you should try to work on fixing it, either yourself or with a therapist or whatever, your mashpia, or with Chassidus, or whatever it is that you're going to use to help you, change that. But the real problem is when it's coming into actualization. And we see that its full-fledged ugliness only is seen when it reaches the final act. That's the idea. Actually, his heart burns with anger, and like venom, like the venom of a snake. It's like the sages say regarding the daughters of Jerusalem. The Gemara in Masechta Shabbos discusses a pasuk that describes that the girls of Yerushalayim are going to be punished really bad because of certain things that they did, not sneistic, in which they were seducing the single boys in Yerushalayim. That's what they were doing. So the Gemara says the Gemara brings a pasuk that they would go out and they would fill their shoes with perfume, and they would walk in front of, they would go to the market where the Bachrim are hanging out, where the guys are, and they would bang their feet, and that would cause the stroom to spray, and it would they would spray it on the boys, and that's how they got them, they turned them on, and they got them to become, all, and that's what the Gemara speaks about the sin. I find it very funny. See that? They had tricks. See, maybe they forgot in those days. They knew how to do it. So the Gemara says it's interesting. The Gemara's term is they put different. Sorry, they put different perfumes in their shoes. But the Alter Rebbe is saying over here they put poison in their menalim, which means, I think, because the Gemara is darshaning a pasuk that refers to that as poison. So he says that final act of putting it in your shoes and going after these poor guys, so to speak, is the full realization of taiva in its ugliest form. That's the idea. And the same is also in the midah of anger and wrath. Even though it's a bad midah, in an angry person, it's not as bad. Like when he activates it, when his anger, when its temper flares up, until it's compared like the eris, like the venom of a snake, mamish. For example, take a look. He says a snake, even when he's not giving you his venom, is an angry being. It's just, you see a snake, he's not going to make you happy. Looking at a snake's angry face produces just a bad mood. That's what a snake is. A snake is a sad creature, a frustrated, envious creature. From the very beginning, he was envious. So that's the snake. He's an envious, dissatisfied being. So he's always angry. He's always upset. So even though it's terrible, but as bad as the encounter with the snake is, but it's much worse to have an encounter with the venom of the snake, because that's where the danger is. When his anger causes him to produce the venom, then what? That's much more difficult to the person, worse than the body of the snake. Again, if I would have an encounter with a snake that brushes up against you, I probably would be in a bad mood probably very much the rest of the day just because I met the snake. But that's not in any way going to cause a bad situation, like God forbid, if you got a bite from the snake. Then it's a life-threatening situation. So that's the idea. That's the final Amalek. Amalek is the activation of all the 7 midos into doing it. He says the same is also in the spiritual snake. The primordial snake. All 7 midos come originally from one snake. Snake is the source. The snake is Amalek. His final venom, is much worse than his body itself. This is the achris. This is their final expression of the bad midos. And now, so why is Amalek responsible for both? Rashis and achris. So he explains. Because the end is wedged in the beginning. That's always the rule. The beginning and the end are always wedged. That's why we are the highest generation. Because we're the end and we're wedged at the very beginning. We and Moshe Rabbeinu's generation, we are that same generation. We are the beginning and the end. That's where all the potency is. That's where all the power is. That's where, as we know, the Alter Rebbe explains so many places that the most powerful creation that exists in all of the world is Earth. There's nothing more potent and powerful than Earth. It's more potent than all the planets and all the galaxies and everything, because they all can't produce anything. What do they produce? And what does the earth produce? Non-ending production of life-giving resources. Why? Because the earth is the final, last creation the Eibishter created, most physical of everything. And again, he's talking more in terms of the spiritual worlds. Earth is the physicality of it. And yet the earth can produce much more than a tree could. A tree's whole power is from the earth. But the earth, yesh me'ayin, earth can do more than a human can create. We can direct the earth, but the earth itself has that power. Why? Because the beginning of the Orein Soif, that he can create something from nothing, where is that exhibited? Where is that shown? Dafka in earth. So that's the same thing with Amalek. The power that Amalek has to get you to do the sin, at the end, is because he is the first state of disconnect. He's that, in a sense, that undefined power of, we're soon going to see what it really means, a sense of somethingness, a yesh. Even though it's still in a state of ayin in this case, ayin meaning it doesn't have a specific form yet of evil, but it's already dismissing God. That's the idea. But it's that first dismissal of the absoluteness of the Eibishter that is the empowerment for the final act. And without that, without being plugged into that superpower, the lust itself, the anger itself would be self-controlled. Would be angry, but it wouldn't have the ability to make that final sting, that final bite to eject the venom. It needs to be reconnected to the in order for the Ani Acharon to happen, for the Acharis of Amalek, it needs to be plugged into Ani Rishon, to the very beginning of Amalek. The two of them work together. Because the end is wedged at the beginning in the rashis of the 7 nations. This is the tamtzis, this is the full concentration, if you can say, of all the bad, shalamides aras, of the negative midos, ve'era shalahem, and their venom. Who are nikra bigamara rasha viraloi. Here's a different taich that he gives in Tanya. In Tanya, he explains rasha viraloi, a rasha that it's bad to him, means a rasha that doesn't have any good in him. He's completely bad. But here he specifically says, rasha means a person is a wicked person. He has a lot of wickedness in him. Raloi means that he actually does bad. Not he has wicked intentions and desires and schemes, but he's actually executing it. That's the Raloi. There is someone, there is someone whose his essential nature is that he's a wicked person. I mean, he hasn't worked on himself at all, and he's full of corruption. But when his midos is also in a state with the venom of the primordial snake, but in other words, he's executing it, he's revealing it, he's expressing it. This is what it means that his end brings. Adei Oived doesn't mean that he will be destroyed. It means that, of course, as well. But it also means that he leads to the final destruction of everything. It's the most destructive power is the Amalek at the very end. That very end that's called the venom. And by the way, where did this whole coronavirus come from? From the snake. Yes, from the market. They're tracing it to the markets that was selling. They had snakes in that market in China. They were eating snakes, and that's so far they came up with. They wanted to come up with all kinds of other theories, that it was a biological something that came out from one of the from their labs and so on and so forth. But I think that's not the. I think they rejected that. I think it's just simply from a market. And it's related to a snake germ, and our bodies are not used to dealing with that stuff. But in any case, but you see clearly, it makes sense, all that I'm saying earlier, that this is an expression of Amalek related to the snake, which is his final venom, that's mamish manifesting begashmias. That's what he's talking about over here. Then is entered, canal, which is the very beginning. Ubekedusha and in kedusha. The Hazel Umazen, holiness, it's also the same thing. What do we find in holy? beneath the long arms of Hashem that are beneath the earth, meaning in the very, very lowest things. In our case, remember I said earlier, earth itself, came and is also rooted in the beginning, as the Alter Rebbe explains, how in the earth you have power that you don't have in all the medium, in all the higher elevated levels of existence. You don't have it. You have a dafka in earth. Like it says, Ani Rishon ve'Ani Achron. The same Ani, the Ani Rishon and Ani Achron, they meet. So it's the same with Amalek. And it says, now he says, however, Lo hibit oven beYaakov, that oven cannot impact Yaakov. V'lo ra omel, inequities cannot affect Jacob. V'lo ra omel, and Hashem did not see exhaustion be Yisroel. This is what Bilam said. So Bilam says that Amal can't affect the Jewish people. Who's Amal? Amal is Amalek. That means that ultimately Jews are safe from Amalek. Pirish, Amal ubchenes Amalek. Amal is the idea of Amalek. Because Amalek spells two words, Amal and Laka. Amal is the Tzemach Tzedek explains in a different mimer. Amal is the rachis. That's the Ani Rishon of Amalek. That's the subtle Amalek. That's the Amalek up there. Laka is the plague of Amalek. Laka means beaten. The actual eres, the actual venom. Now he's going to explain why is it that in the Jewish people Amalek can't affect. But it primarily on the level called Yisroel, not the level called Yaakov. Because we know when Amalek came, the Jews were protected from Amalek. The only ones that Amalek was able to harm were the people that were outside of the Ananei HaKavod, of the clouds of glory. So we know the Jewish people have two names. We're called Yaakov and we're called Yisroel. So Yaakov is a more external name. Yisroel is an internal name, a higher name. Tzaddikim are called Yisroel. And regular Yidden are called Yaakov. Yaakov has the word Akev in it. Akev means the heel. Yisroel has the name Rosh, the head. So he's saying on the higher madrega of Yisroel, Loidra Amal, there's no... See, even Yaakov will also beat Amalek. Yaakov also beats Amalek. But Yaakov has to fight Amalek. Say, Hilachim b'Amalek. Go fight Amalek. And even though Bnei Yisrael fought Amalek, but Moshe sent them out of the Tzei, go out, means go down to the level of Yaakov and fight against Amalek. Because on the level of Yaakov, there can be a battle. On the level of Yisrael, Leira Amal be Yisrael. There's no Amal there at all. Why? He explains. Because that there can be nishtalshal. There can emanate the 7 bad midos. Which its origins, again, before it becomes 7 bad midos, what's the seed? The seed is Amalek, gracious. But even that comes from what? It's from the remnants, it's from the residue, it's from what falls from the 7 midos of holiness. Again, let's go back to the idea that we mentioned before. Klippa doesn't have anything original. They're copycatters. Therefore, Klippa, the whole existence, the fact that there can be unholy love is because there is holy love. So then the holy love can slowly be misguided, and then it can, chas v'shalom, leak to something unholy. The same as with every type of unholiness. It's just an imitation and a falling of Kedusha. So the 7 midos of Kedusha, in some weird way, in some strange way, are a source for chas v'shalom, the seven unholy midos, like we find. You know where you find that? You see the seven big cows, the second page, or actually, yeah. So you see the seven cows. So the 7 fat cows came out, and then there were 7 skinny cows, and we know the 7 fat cows represent the midos de kedusha, and the 7 skinny cows represent the midos of klipa. In order for the 7 unholy midos to emerge, when Paro saw them, first there had to be the 7 midos of holiness, then there can be the others. So now,
And Amalek is the point in the middle that transitions it. Without Amalek, it can never go from here to here. So there has to be an Amalek who's the rashis, the beginning of the seed. So now, V'nikra Amal. That what we call that element in holiness which feeds in, you hear, the very droppings, the very leftovers of kedusha, the very what would I call it, the tail end of holiness that feeds in and allows for klipa to come out of it. That level is called amal. Amal meaning exertion. You're loving God, but it's exertion. It tires you. It's everything. The avodah is done with a certain amelus. It's almost like you're forcing the love. You're forcing the thing. It's a very chitzoniistic level of the ava. The Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya that, not in Tanya, in the Maim, a different Maim, Zocharas Hashaslucha Amalek. The Alter Rebbe explains with a very interesting, fascinating thing. He says that Amalek Dafka comes to us b'derech b'tzeischem mitzrayim, when we're on the way out of Egypt. Amalek, why did Amalek attack then? Why didn't Amalek wait until we go to Eretz Yisroel and then he'll attack? Why did he come dafka b'derech? And it seems like God is angry at him because he attacked you dafka b'derech. Because b'derech we were vulnerable. Why? So he explains it ba'avodah. What does it mean ba'avodah? And this is the secret to a lot of the Maimer. And he says like this. He says there is Mitzrayim and there is Eretz Yisroel. Mitzrayim is called a poor land. What do we say? Holach ma'anya, this is the poor man's bread. The achala avasana ba'arid Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is a land of poverty. At least the Jewish people were impoverished in Mitzrayim. That means the Jew in us starves in Egypt. That's Mitzrayim. Eretz Yisrael is called Eretz Toiva, and it's also called Mitzrayim. What does Mitzrayim mean? Constricted. And then what is Eretz Yisrael called? Eretz Toiva Urachava. It's broad. It's the opposite. And it's also Eretz Zavas Chalav Dvash. It flows milk and honey. It's a land of wealth. It's a land of plenty. What does that mean? The land is the neshama. And the question is, like in Mitzrayim, your neshama is constricted. So what does Mitzrayim really mean? Constricted consciousness. When our holy consciousness, when our neshama is completely undeveloped, and it's at a state where a Jew has a pinta leyid, but that's all that he has. The pinta leyid is the Alter Rebbe. Amunah we never lose. Amunah is indestructible. Amunah is the point of the neshama that's indestructible, and that's why the Yidden always had Amunah, b'schus Amunah, negalu avasenu Mitzrayim. But you're still in Egypt. You have Amunah, I have something to work with, the Eibush says. I have somewhere I have a point of connection. I can connect to you. But when you only have Amunah, and you don't have any developed understanding, your complete intellectual appreciation is only in the culture of Egypt. Your emotions are attached to Egyptian culture, to all the depravities and all whatever goes in Egypt. That's who you are. That's how your entire personality is. But underneath it all, ich bin Ayid. I go from my father's yard site to say Kaddish. That's my entire structure. I have no Torah. I have no developed holiness. We don't have to talk about only Chas v'Shalom such Yidden. We can even talk about ourselves. How much do we feel that we've developed a holy intelligence to know Hashem and a holy emotional structure, that we should love God as much as we love worldly things. So that's called being in Mitzrayim, where all of our koiches are constricted. Eretz Yisrael means a complete, total opposite, where all your koiches elokim, all your godly koiches are in a state of complete development. Not only does the Alter Rebbe say, do you have all your emotions fully developed, you have a vast intelligence, you have a vast moichen of appreciation of godliness, but the Rebbe explains much deeper than that. You have a very powerful desire to Elokus. Your entire being wants Eibush there, and here's the main point. It's Zavas Chalav Udvash. Dvash is pleasure. You've developed your spiritual side so deeply that your sense of pleasure is only in godliness. You've uncovered the pleasure of your soul. And once a person uncovers the pleasure of your soul, that your pleasure is only in Eibishter, your pleasure is in Mincha, your pleasure is in doing tzedakah, your pleasure is in putting on tefillin, lighting Shabbos candles, is enough to give you a thrill for at least Tuesday or Wednesday. You're still under the vibrations and sensations from the delight that you had, that you merited to light a Shabbos candle. That's how filled you are. That's a tzaddikus. That's being an Eretz Yisrael. Now there is an intermediate state, because a person can't go from from his identity being his nefesh habahamis to suddenly being your identity being your nefesh elokis overnight. Doesn't work that way. There is b'derech b'tzeischem Mitzrayim. There is the road. There is the journey. The journey is when you're going from you're working on this transition. What does that mean in a person's avodah? This can be a person can be b'derech all his life. Only tzaddikim really reach Eretz Zavas Chalav Dvash. Bizman hazeh, when Mashiach comes, we're all going to be there. But bizman hazeh, only tzaddikim reach it. Most of us, if we're lucky, at least we get out of Egypt and we get on the road and we make it to the third or fourth encampment, or maybe the sixth. We work. What do we do on the bederech? What does it say in the pasuk? Lech teich acharai bamidbar. You followed behind me, and that's the whole difference. The Alter Rebbe says in avodah b'pchinas acharayim. In Eretz Yisrael, your avodah is panim b'panim, face to face. Your pnimius is connecting to God's pnimius. The Eibishter is so visible and experienceable to you, so he has literally put you on fire and captivated you completely. You're captivated by godliness. And he's the thrill and the pleasure of your life. He's your existence. So that's called face to face. Amalek can't get into you at all in that state. He's not even going to try. Where is Amalek come? If you're on the road. What's the road? Serving God in a manner of following behind him. Behind him means you don't experience him yet. You're trying to learn about him. You're studying, you're learning, you're meditating. And even if you do a good meditation and you're understanding, your mind is telling your heart he's worth loving. At this point, I still love a cracker with herring much more than I love the Eibishter. That's more pleasurable to me at this second. Okay, change the herring for sushi. I love the sushi, not the sushi. Give me something else that you like. Oh, you like Hashem? Okay, good. But okay. For me, I'm talking. So yeah, I know that. I know who I'm talking to, because you've been coming all these years here. For men, it's harder to change, but for the women, it's 1, 2, 3, because they're on a much holier level. I know that my appetites, my desires, my wants are still the material things, but I learn Chassidus, I understand and recognize the Eibishter is phenomenal and great, and my mind is telling my heart I should love him, and maybe I even bring myself to a point where I feel love. I feel love, but it's called a forced love. My mind is compelling my heart to love, and it could be very deep. It can last for a while. I can really feel, but it's not inherently what my heart wants. I'll give you an example. Someone who really likes, a certain kind of music, rock and roll. They love it, and all their life, they're literally a music, what do you call it? People that are a music fan, they're a junkie, I don't know, whatever. They go to every concert. This guy, whatever. They have their and suddenly there is a concert of a classical concert with some, and they have a friend who loves classical music, and they beg them and make them crazy come to the concert. So they'll come to the concert, and guess they'll enjoy it. They'll enjoy it, but it's more their mind telling them how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is, and they have the sensation of it, and they can go back and talk about it. But it's not the type of thrill and excitement. It doesn't grab them in their gut like when they get into a concert hall and it's rock and roll and it's really taking them. It's not what they essentially like. It's their being convinced. And obviously, the more they do that, they might transform one day to be a classical music lover and so on and so forth. This is called being in the midbar. That's the point, and that's called amal. Amal is when there is exertion, because it's davening. To someone who's in Eretz Yisrael, davening is a pleasurable experience. It doesn't make you tired at all. There's no avoida. You can't wait to open up your seat. You don't want to go anywhere. There's nowhere else you would rather be than under your tallis, lost in hours and hours. You wish you can lose your phone and no one will ever know where you are, not your wife, not your kids. Not ever, but for a long time, and then you leave you. That's your pleasure of your life. But if you're not feeling that, and what you're feeling is, if you're not feeling that, but all you're feeling is is you're pushing yourself to work on, that's called amal. And where there is amal, that's the level of Yaakov. That's not the level of Yisroel. So in different Maayon, the Alter Rebbe explains that that's the difference between a Jew during the week and the Jew during Daven on Shabbos. On Shabbos, a Jew is naturally elevated that he's in a level of Yisroel and he's loy amal. There's no even exertion. But I'll call upon him where there is exertion. That's called you're in a holy place. Midas the kedusha, but Amalek can get you after davening. Amalek can get you because you're not really on the Eibishter's team yet. You're not really on that side. You're still choosing. So Amalek can come and say, well, Amalek, as we spoke about last week in the shir, dismisses things, makes fun of, so he says, a big deal for the Eibishter, whatever it is. Amalek is cynicism. It's able to get you if you're not completely there, only baderech. So that's what he's saying over here. That he's explaining why to Yidden be'etzem Amalek is not shayach. From the 7 midas of holiness. The nikra amal, and that's called amal. There's a pasuk that says, Ma Yisrael la'adam b'chol amaloi. What's the Yisrael? What's the advantage for a person with all of his amal? So he's explaining it over here. Adam over here is not the human being down here. It's referring to the supernal man of Atzilus, the 7 holy midas. But b'chol amaloi, there is still an inyan of amal that falls down and feeds into the 7 midas of Klippa. Ubi Yisrael loyra amal zeh. By Yidden there isn't this amal. Why? Lefi shenot soifam b'tchilasam. As we're going to see later in the Maimer, because a Yid, even when he's physically down here in a physical body, and maybe dafka because he's in a physical body, he's able to plug himself in so deep to a level that transcends the spherois of Atzilus into the Eibishter himself, and from the Eibishter himself, or even deeper, we'll see in a minute even more. From the Eibishter himself, higher than the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, especially higher than the Vav-Kei, higher than the 7 midas, which is the Vav and the Hey. The Vav is the 6 midas and the Hey is Malchus. Higher than those things, Amalek has no control. Since the Yid is able to plug into the Eibishter himself, so therefore there's no Amalek. And we're going to see soon, our Avodah is to take the midas of the Eibishter, the 7 midas, and cause them to be so much more inward in Eibishter himself, in the Ein Sof, when these midos are more concentrated in Hashem as opposed to more expressed to become more of a visible external presence. But when the midos are more embedded in their source, their Amalek has no fuel, because his whole fuel comes from the tail end of the midos, and that tail end of the midos is only when the midos are in a state of yesh. They're in a state of projection, a state of beingness. Our avodah is, as a Jew, is through our deep Adaloyoda. That's what the whole Maimer is going to explain. Our avodah on Purim is to reach a unification and an identification with God on such a deep level. We transcend our intellect and emotions and so on and so forth to a point of just our essence to essence. And then we schlep all of our emotions into that purest, deepest inner core point. And then Amalek automatically is diffused, because there's no energy going from the midas, the kedusha, into feed the klippa. So the klippa gets choked. It has no life force. It has no existence. It suffocates without any place to do it. And that's going to be explained later in the Maimer. Yisroel olu b'machshava ve'ein shel amal hamaster. Over there's no level that amal can't obscure. Ki ani rishain v'ani achron. Because when you touch the ani rishain from the Eibishter himself, and obviously the ani acharoin, what happens? It cancels the rishon and the achris of Amalek. Kechashecha ka'oira, like darkness, like light, and Amalek cannot exist. Okay, so let's understand all of this much better. Now he explains. He's going to explain first the regular system of a Yid's neshama. What's the makeup of a Jew's soul in terms of our experiences of our midas of our neshama? When we are developed as a Jew, when we are healthily Jewish, we feed our soul, we take care of our soul, and we open up our treasures that there are in our soul, we will find that we have God's name in our soul, which means all godly features. We have a complete divine program embedded in our system that we should probably once in our lifetime try to run the program and see what it's like to really be a Jew. And that's by activating these midos of the Eibishter in our being. He's going to explain how it is in an ordinary state, and as a result of that, why Amalek can get in. And then he's going to explain the avodah of Adaloyada, of Purim, of all this, that's bringing it to a place where it's far more unified in the quintessential point, where over there it can't be corrupted. So let's see. Huh? They exist, but they exist in a far more unified state with the core of the human being. And in this case, with the midos exist, or else there wouldn't be a world. There has to be. It's absorbed to the point that it doesn't have yeshus, doesn't have any sense of self, even though it exists. It's like a very quiet love where you're not feeling the love. You're just feeling you're feeling only the bittul, even though you're overly powered, but you're so aware of the one you're loving that you don't even feel that you're loving in that state, kind of. The bittul is what you sense, though. You see he's going to connect it all to the beginning. We have to get, the secret against Amalek is the yud of Shem Havaya, the point of connection. The point where the yud is still all concentrated in one point. It says in the pasuk that these people are a chelik of him. Sheyesh Shem Havaya b'chol nitzitz Yisroel. There is the Shem Havaya in every nitzitz of the Jewish people. So now he's going to start with the Vavke, with the lower parts of Hashem's name. Pirush Vavke, what is the Vavke? Hana midos. These are the midos. Shehem Vav, which they're a Vav because they're 6. Like it says, L'cha Hashem Agdula, to you Hashem is greatness, V'hagavura, and might. Midas Agdula, what does it mean, Midas Agdula? As it is in the Neshama, Hana midas Chesed V'ava. It's the midah of love, of kindness, and the midah of love. The Avram Avi, we know that the one who personified love is Avram Avinu, Avram who loved me. This is the love Amasuteres that is concealed, Hativis, the natural love, the hidden love. Every Jew has it. You have the reservoir of this love. You have it because you have Avram Avinu's genes. You have Avram's DNA in your blood. It is rooted in the heart of every single Jew. In which the neshama, the yid, wants to cleave to Hashem, with the deepest yearning of the heart. But the problem is that this can remain in untapped. This can remain unknown to a person. But he says, if a person keeps his neshama clean, if you don't chas v'shalom bring junk in, so you know what's going to happen? Automatically, there are going to be times when you're going to be aroused with a feeling of you want to get close to Hashem. Every time Shem is oirer pisayim, every time that suddenly, when you can't explain why, you're suddenly aroused and you want to be a better Jew. It brings you to a point of tshuva, get more, whatever it is. It could be a Shabbos, Yom Tov, pisayim, suddenly. That he's emphasizing pisayim because he wants to talk that this is Ava Misuteres. It's their be'etzim. It's not your work. You're not creating it. Midas HaGavura. We also have the Midah of Gavura, who are Yira v'Apachat. That's the dread and the fear. Hapach Midas Ava. It's the opposite of the attribute of love. Shnei Midas Ava, because the Midah of love, hu b'chinas eskarvus hanefesh. Love means that the soul gets close. V'zdavgusa, and it cleaves be'iloi achar iloi, higher and higher. It cleaves to Hashem higher and higher. That's love. Midas hayir nahapachu, and the midah of fear is the opposite. She's boinin ishaloi, that one's contemplation. We turn over the page. Begdula saboirei, the page tough yud beis. Begdula saboirei, in the greatness of the Creator. How His name is elevated alone. For Akoida el eretz Shemaim, and only His glory, His ray is on the heaven and the earth. In other words, in order to come to the fear, it's interesting. In the love, he spoke about just spontaneous bursts of love. By fear, he's talking about, because it looks like you don't really get spontaneous bursts of fear. Fear is something that you gotta work more on. You can't rely on it coming spontaneously. But in any case, when you do, and what's the primary contemplation to develop fear? Is not to think about the Eibishter's imminence, in the sense that his espashtos, the Eibishter's expansion into the world, that's like causes you to admire and go, ooh, wow. But to sense God's, how he's removed from everything and he's above and unknown to nobody, and how you don't know him. And that's what creates the fear. Because if you know something, at least you get comfortable with it. If you don't know him, he's above it all. Ikedaima and the like. Tipalol of emo pacha, that will cause, that it will cast upon him, will fall upon him, a dread and a fear. V'yeh b'pchenas richuk, and a person will suddenly feel very distant, ubitel atzmusai, and tiny and small, and with a strong sense of nothingness. Like it says by Matan Torah, Vayara'am, the people saw. They saw the grandeur of Hashem. Vayanu, they trembled. Vayamdu marachok, they stood at a distance. In other words, it doesn't make you feel like you want to come close. This others terrifies you, causes you to want to step and say, who am I? I'm a nobody. How can I even? And not in a state of closeness. That's why when the malachim speak, it says they speak in fear. Why do the malachim speak in fear? Because they say Kadesh. Kadesh, Kadesh, Kadesh. Koloimar Muvdal, which means because their contemplation is primarily how Hashem is separated, that's why their primary experience is V'oimrim B'yira. The Leis Machshav Tfisa Bey, there's no one that can grasp him. Ki Yedu, as it is known. For whom Midas HaGevura, and this is the Midah of Gevura. Which we know Gevura is the left side. Deraya Smala, it's the left arm, which belongs to Yitzchak. The love is to Avram on the right side. Yitzchak is the left arm. Like it says, Pachad Yitzchak hayali, the dread of Yitzchak was to me. This is the meaning when we say the right hand should bring close and the left hand should push you away. This can be self-applied. You use the left, the meditations associated with the left, to cause you to step back from not becoming the Eibishter's buddy, but to feel, who am I? To have a relationship with him, to get a sense of real dread. Because of the dread and the fear, matches atzmoi, one pushes himself b'shiflis to feel lowly, v'richik gadol ma'Hashem, and a great distance from Hashem. Like it says, vayanu, and they trembled, vayamdu ma'racha kenal, like we said earlier, that they stood at a distance. And then we have the third midah. What's the mediating midah? The harmonizing midah. That's the mechaber shneim, and attaches both of them together. Midas Yaakov is the attribute of Yaakov. What's Yaakov? B'midas harachamim. It's the attribute of rachamim, of mercy, compassion, kiyudua. For who? And that comes after Yitzchak. It means after you have Avram and then Yitzchak, then you come to Yaakov. This is when a person is going through an emotional roller coaster. First he experienced love, then he suddenly hit him. He was experiencing a powerful desire and cleaving to God, and suddenly he gets a cold sweat and literally gets the chills and stops right in the middle of davening, can't move forward. Mamash is terrified, gets a panic attack of who the Eibishter is. So he stays like that, trembles for 10 minutes, and then he's got to get out of this as well. So what does he do now? So now he's going to use the attribute of compassion to say that even someone as nothing like me could have a relationship with the Eibishter. Because the Eibishter is infinitely merciful, and even someone that is like me can also. So the mercy, the compassion is the picker-upper after the powerful, I don't want to call it rejection, but that powerful self-rejection, if you call you self-eject or whatever, for like it says, now where do you see that after the fear comes again a kiruv? It says in the pasuk, mirachayk Hashem nirali. From the distance, when I'm distant and I feel completely worthless to be connected to Him, suddenly from the distance Hashem appears to me to bring me close again. It says in the pasuk, ve'emascha al tiva'aseni, and your dread should not frighten me. That means that even though I experience your dread, I shouldn't remain outside. And that's because when a person contemplates, what caused you to be so scared? You suddenly realized how high the Eibishter is, how high, and you realize how low you are, And you said, like, it doesn't fit that in a beautiful palace, in something so magnificent, someone dressed like me should come in over here. Meaning, in other words, such coarseness should step in to such elegance and such light and such greatness. The Eibishter being so high, so beyond, and I'm so petty and silly and whatever. But when a person realizes that the Eibishter is beyond elegance and is beyond coarseness, he's not defined by anything, not by refinement and not by... Hashem can be everywhere. To Hashem, it's all the same. Refinement and coarseness. If the Eibishter wants a relationship, that's all that counts, what he wants. So I can be a coarse and I can be, like the Alter Rebbe gives the mashal of the king who's the melech gadol va'ader, and he finds a person in the dumpster, a homeless person, and anybody else would never be able to connect to this person. But Davka the king, because he's so high, picks up this person from the dumps and takes him into the palace, and he hugs him and he gives him everything, and he obviously picks him up to the highest point. He explains that that's what Hashem did to us in Mitzrayim. That's out of compassion. And then you realize that don't limit the Eibishter. The Eibishter can't. No, we're dealing, but you see, these are all. I can talk about these meditations 1, 2, 3. We spoke about the love, we spoke about the fear, and now we spoke about the compassion. We're talking about emotional. To knowing this emotionally takes a lot of exercise, not just to be able to say it, but to actually experience this in your kishkis, in your gut, to be able to feel this in a very real way. And then that lifts you up and it brings you back into the Eibishter's embrace after you felt already not chas v'shalom. It's a good thing. The fear is a good thing. Yitzchak is a good thing. But you get back again, niskarev again. The Eibishter is above and below equal. Like darkness, like light. And this descent is for the sake of an ascent. The descent of the fear, when you stepped away, was for the sake of coming closer again. Shrei miskarev el Hashem. Then you'll get close to Hashem b'dveikus ava, with the cleaving of love, achrei harichuk hakadam, after the earlier separation and distance. Because suddenly you realize you're not far. By him, darkness and light is equal. Your dread should not scare me away. Ultimately, you don't become lost. And I never got distant because I suddenly reconnect again through compassion. And that's through the midah of mercy. Because here's the thing. In love, I'm feeling close to Hashem because there's a certain element of I'm a neshama, I'm a yid, the Eibishter loves me. So there is a certain schus, there's a certain merit to me that I deserve the love. Because I didn't yet recognize how I don't deserve anything. That's when I start meditating the fear element. So I'm still feeling, look, David, wow, what an awesome creator he is, and he created me, and I want to get close to him, and so on and so forth. So there is a certain relationship that has to do with the person. The fear, right? Obviously, because you recognize yourself being the rachamim. Once you realize how you don't deserve anything and how low you are, and then you're saying no, but the Eibishter is kachashecha ka'ira. That's pure compassion on his end. That's mitzad him, because he's compassionate, and because he's compassionate to him, even a lowly creature he can choose whatever he wants. And the Eibishter did choose he wants a relationship with the Jewish people, and so on and so forth. So that's why this is back. The pickup that comes after the distancing is related to compassion. When you're mamshech and you evoke great mercy, and sheyarda berichik, that you came so far, and you contemplate the midas harachmim el yoinim, that the supernal attribute of mercy, mispashtim, can extend gam lemishu lamata mata, even to someone who is so low. Because Yaakov extends from one extreme to another extreme. That's what we say by Yaakov Dafka. That Yaakov is the middle bar. We learned this in Chassidus many times. We learned about it last week in the Parsha, that the center bar that went in the beams goes across the entire Mishkan. The other bars only went half a wall. This one either went a whole wall or went around the entire Mishkan. That's the meaning that Yaakov, from the highest to the lowest, because the Eibishter's mercy is equally to the highest, because no one is deserving for his friendship and a relationship with him. And to him, the lowest lowlife, and we might look at despicable, is absolutely equal to the most refined, elevated, spiritual creature. Even if it's in its highest, most beautiful, singing like with the most exquisite voice and the most purest motive and shining with light without any negative thought at all, just pure love and kindness and beauty. To the Eibishter, who he really is, that and someone that we would just go and run away from are absolutely equal, and both of them need the same mercy for God to pay attention to them. If we appreciate what Eibishter really is, how he transcends all definitions, everything that's defined and anything is absolutely equal. It's all nothing to him. So that's the meaning. Yaakov min hakatz al yoina the katz tachtoina, from the highest to the lowest. V'zel Yaakov. This is the meaning also of Yaakov asher padas Avram. The pasuk. So interesting how the pasuk itself. The pasuk says like this: Koi Amar Hashem. This is what the Eibishter says. Liyaakov, Koi Hashem Liyaakov. Which Eibishter asher padas Avram? God who saved Avram says to Yaakov. That's a pasuk. Where is the pasuk? It's a pasuk 46 in Yeshaya. Chassidus learns it that the attribute of Yaakov, not that the Eibishter is Poides Avram. Yaakov is the one who is Poida Avram. Yaakov is the one who liberates Avram. What does that mean? When your love gets stuck, when your love, Avram is your love. Avram is love. So you have your own Avram. When your Avram Avinu got blocked, got stuck, why did it get stuck? Not because of bad stuff, but because of the fear. Because you suddenly realized how far and removed you are, and that's blocking the love. So your love is now jeopardized, your love is blocked. You bring in compassion, and the compassion frees the love. Yaakov Ashapadas Avram. Yaakov's compassion frees the love. Because once you realize that the Eibishter could love even someone like you because of his compassion, you can then experience again closeness and love. The meaning is that he redeems the love. That you should return and get close again with love after the distance of the fear. The Yaakov, because of the drawing of compassion of Yaakov. So these are the three midos. Chesed, he said he spoke as a burst of spontaneous love to Hashem. Gevura is a fear that comes from meditation of how far we are. And then Yaakov, that says, despite my distance, Hashem still wants a relationship with me. So these are the three midos. But he just explained three midos. But remember, he said that it's called the Vav. Vav is 6 midos. So it's interesting. He's not going to explain the other 3 midos, Netzach, Chod, Yesod. He's going to repeat again Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, but he's going to repeat it, these midos, as they're action-oriented. Till now, he discussed them pure in an emotional state. Now you get the same midos repeated again when they are directed towards action. For example, the love turns into kindness and acts of charity, driving charity, gemilas chesed. The fear turns into davening, avodah, sacrifices and avodah, which is the root of accepting the yoke of God, Kabbalah Malchus Shamayim, related to the yira, to the fear. V'sham na'avodcha b'yira, the avodah is in yira. And then the Yaakov, the Rachamim, translates into the Midas Emes LeYaakov, which is the study of Torah. So it's, because Yaakov is Torah study. So it's really the 3 pillars that the world stands on. Chesed, but now more in a state of action, not so much as emotion. Which, by the way, is really what the 3 lower Midas are. Netzach, Chod, Yesod are really just a repeat of Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, as they are directing themselves towards behavior. That's why in the human body, physiologically, The chesed, gevura, teferes is the upper part of the body. The torso is the rachamim, is the teferes, and the chesed and gevura are the two arms. And then netzach, hod, yesod are the legs and the reproductive element of the person. So that's more regarding grounding the world, being here, being in Gashmias. When these three midos are mislabish, getting clothed in action. These are the three channels of Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim, of Torah and Avodah and Gemilas Chasadim. It's Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes as they come down into action. Well, it's like a way of analogy. It's the kindness in the heart of a person. When it gets enclosed and it expands in the deeds of tzedakah. To enliven the spirit of the lowly. In the literal. So the same is also the Eibishter's chesed. Chesed Raya Yamina is when the Eibishter is doing kindness. It's God's chesed flowing to the world to do goodness to the world. So the Eibishter's midas chesed becomes enclosed. In other words, what he's saying like this: when you're doing tzedakah, it's not just your tzedakah. You're activating the Eibishter's midas tzedakah, the Eibishter's chesed, to be mislabish and olam asiyah in your actions of tzedakah. You're activating it. And the same is also with the left side. Al yedei avodah she'en karbanos, through our avodah, which is karbanos, and we activate the Eibishter's gevura down in this world. And the same is also through learning Torah. We activate midas the Eibishter's rachamim. Fine. Ubekulam, but here's a very important idea. So basically, the Alter Rebbe is explaining the system. How does the system work? When a Yid experiences Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, so that's relating to the Eibishter's Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes. When a Yid, in a way of love, Ava, Yira, and Rachamim, on a more external level, on a more practical level, when you're doing kindness, or you're doing you're davening, or you're learning Torah, that's more of an action as opposed to a deep experience inside. These are channeling the Netzach Hod Yesod, which are really manifestations of Chesed, Gevurah, Teferes, into action, into this world. Fine. But the Rebbe says in order to lubricate, and this is the important idea, in order to get the whole thing moving, and it shouldn't be like cranky. Sometimes it's cranky, nothing is moving. Even though you have everything, you can't get nothing. Everything is dry. The flow is like, bleh. The pipes get rusty. Everything gets, why? Because you're lacking joy. You have to have simcha. When you have simcha, it's pumping. It's flowing. Everything is kicking. By all of them, the light. Well, in other words, you can learn Torah and you're not drawing God's light down here and really into the world. You can be doing chesed, and if you're melancholy and down, it's not really having its impact. But when you're dancing on the way to learn, if you're skipping, if you're doing a mitzvah and you're pumping, you got to do that. I had 2 experiences this week of like joy. Maybe I'm experiencing such a whatever. So I had these 2 moments of nice joy. One was I was learning at night Rambam, and I wasn't feeling well. I came after a shir over here. After it wasn't Monday night. When was it? Yeah, maybe it was Monday night. No, maybe it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday afternoon, and Tuesday evening, and I was feeling really not good. And so I was learning Rambam. And I'm learning the Rambam, and I'm learning the laws of tzaras. And it's the last thing you want to be learning about, I can tell you. And it's not negating your life, and so on and so forth. But for some reason, I had a moment of open mind, and I was actually learning the halacha well in Rambam, and I have really good Rambams these days that explain things, and I was really getting to it. And suddenly, I said to myself, I'm sorry for the language, I am so fakakt right now. I'm not feeling well. And spiritually, I'm also feeling dark. I'm just not, and I merit now to be able to connect my mind to the infinite wisdom of the Eibishter, that this halacha, that's an obscure halacha in Hilchas Tzaras, which has no existence other than the Eibishter's infinite wisdom. Other than that, no one would care about this. Other than this, the Eibishter's infinite wisdom, that's absolutely true for all of existence. And I merit it. I'm going to forget this halacha. You ask me now, I have no idea what I learned. But for a few seconds, it passed through the conscious my brain cells. I hosted this infinite. It made me suddenly so happy. I can't explain why. I started singing a niggin. I didn't even know which niggin it was. It was also a very geschmack niggin that I haven't sung in a long time. And I was just singing that song, and I was thinking, the more, I don't know, that gets me always the happiest. Like, the more things are pathetic, and you're there, and then like, that was so good. It's like hitting things from the bottom, and it was great. Today I had to go see a doctor. Baruch Hashem, you don't get scared. I'm talking about a doctor. So I'm going to say this so you don't get scared. I haven't been feeling well for a few weeks. I had a little fever, and no one can figure out what's wrong with me. My blood work is perfect, and so on and so forth, and I have a little, tremor, but I don't know what's going on, and I'm taking care of it, so I know people are listening and they get worried. But it's enough to feel not good if you're just feeling like this. So today I was in the car actually going to a doctor's appointment, and I had, for some reason, there was this talk to 870, some talk host, radio talk host. He's talking, and I said, why do I have to hear the shtusim here? I'm not listening to this. And I went to Spotify, and I saw Mordechai and David. I hit Mordechai and David. And suddenly the first song was, Anachnu Maminim B'nei Maminim, and for some reason the speakers in the car are like so good. And I started busting, and I'm ripping down the street, and it's like, wow, was that good? It's like you can't trust in anybody. I felt like the entire Jewish people, like in Gullus now, with this whole coronavirus and this fakakta situation, and we don't know what's happening, and everybody's terrified and the whole thing, and like that we believe in the Eibush there, we're children believers, the children believers. It was so good. And then after that, Baruch Hashem, like I don't know what song is going to come after that, the Eibush to help me. Mamish, it was healing. This was therapeutic. This healing healed me probably for a few weeks. What do I hear? The next one was, oh wow. And the music, I'm actually going to turn it on right now. It was so good. It was. And I'm sitting in the car, I'm at the driver's door, and I'm crazy. I'm clapping, and I'm sitting over there, and I'm going wild. Zawzah, then you're alive. Then you can teach. I think the reason I'm teaching tonight is just because of that moment, or else I would have been sitting there. That's the way it is. You can't, if you're not happy, if you're not. So, and I actually got it from the Rebbe last night. I'll tell you. I'm revealing, I'm conveying things. So all these weeks that I'm sick, I opened up, I have a lot of communication with the Rebbe all the time, so I opened up letters. And I got answers here, there, but not really. And I never sat down to write. I don't know, something in me that was resisting, sitting down and writing a letter, writing the whole situation, what's going on, and doing it. And I didn't. So last night I was sitting here, I got like frustrated with the fact that I can't get over this health issue. So I took out my phone, and there is an app that has Rebbe's letters. It's like it has all the letters, and you have different options. You can pick any letter you want, or it gives you random. So I hit random, and I cried out. I said, Rebbe, I need you now. Just come on, stop this. Just talk to me. So he opens the letter, and he says, it's a long time I haven't heard from you, although I've heard from many people. Now, there are so many people who have been complaining to the Rebbe, how come Rabbi Wolf's not feeling well? So many people have been writing letters on my behalf. And he says, how come, like from you, and you know what it is, you know why you're not writing? He says, because you're not besimcha. And that was my thing. He says, you're not happy. So I realized that you need simcha. So here he says, right over here, he says that without simcha, nothing flows. You got to be happy. You got to get, no matter what, the moment you put yourself into happiness, and sometimes, you think, how do you get happy? I don't know. You just got to let your soul flow. You got to turn on the music and say to the Inish, do you want to be happy? I don't know. I don't know exactly the method, but for me it worked while I was learning. So yesterday, I saw a letter. Someone posted that someone writes to the Rebbe that I am deeply depressed, I'm in a dekoyan mamish, deep depression, and I don't know what to do, and so on and so forth. He's asking for an eitzah, and the Rebbe says, every night before you go to sleep, you should learn Torah. That's what he writes to him. You should learn. Take out really, push yourself. Learn Kudei Hashem Yesharim Samchei Lev. The Eibishter's Torah is straight, Samchei Lev. It brings joy into the heart. That's just what it is. So it's beautiful when you're zoiche to experience it. Because in the Rambam, I felt it came straight from the Torah to me. I had no reason suddenly to get such an infusion of joy just out of nowhere. I didn't do anything for it. So, but this is important. We need to always keep the joy going. In any case, let's read inside. Oh, just like in Avodah, the Eibishter says, because you did not serve me with joy. So you see that in the Kava, he wants to show that in Avodah, in Torah, in all aspects, if you're not doing it b'simcha, there's no flow. So there it says, by Avodah, you did not serve God. By tzedakah and gemilas chasadim, it also says, Lo yera levavcha besitcha. Don't have it press your heart when you're giving. Every time you give tzedakah, you should dance with the Meshulach. Whoever it is, you're giving tzedakah, do it with joy, with happiness. And that's powerful. You have to give the shefa and the kindness with a good heart, with your full desire of your soul. And says also in the middle one, Shehu Torah, which is Torah, tzarech liyas hasimcha. Now also has to be joy. Like Chazal say, that you have to do it b'simcha. And the reason is, the Alter Rebbe says, the reason why without simcha, your entire yud k vav k in your soul, he didn't talk about the yud and the k. All he's talking about is about the vav. But the vav needs to be, as we said before, lubricated with simcha. Or else nothing is the emotions are going to be stuck. Everything is going to be dead. So, why? The chol his galus ahelem ena al yedei simcha. Your whole his galus, the whole revelation of what is concealed, is only through simcha. Only through joy. Joy causes expansion and openness and revelation. So when you're fakvetched, when you're suppressed, nothing is happening. You need his galus. So it's the same. So when you're his galus, your soul becomes revealed. And as your soul becomes revealed from up there, it causes God also to become revealed and open and expanded. What's galus? I'm sorry for saying this. Please forgive me. But I'm going to say it because I think it's true. Galus is the Eibishter going into a deep depression. That's why he disappeared. He goes into himself. He gets introverted. God is deeply depressed, and because he wants his home in this world, and we're not giving it to him. And Geula is when the Eibishter gets freilach again, comes out of it, and we're responsible. We need to get him out of it by us being besimcha. We pull him out. Okay, they're going to really put this out and say Rabbi Wolf said that the Eibishter is deeply depressed. Okay, I'm sorry. V'alkein, and therefore, but it's true. Yeah, v'alkein, and therefore, I mean, as much as we can say by Hashem anything, we speak about the Eibishter besimcha, the Eibishter that. It's for this reason that it will not be revealed. The concealment of the supernal midos, begimel kaven aloli and alolo, and these three kaven, kimaydei simcha dafka. The flow of energy will only be revealed in these three flows, which are the three channels in which all energy flows to the world, is only through joy. Okay. Now it says in the pasuk, miyaminoi eish das lamai. From his right hand comes a fiery law. Pirish, what is it? Now he's going to show how these three midas are behiskalalos. They're all integrated one with each other. Pirish miyaminoi eish das ham gimel kavan anal. This represents the three kavan, these three channels. Torah v'avodah gemilas chasadim. Torah and avodah and gemilas chasadim. Miyaminoi hu chesed. The right hand is chesed. Droya yamina, Hashem's right hand. Eish, it says miyaminoi, from his right hand came eish, came fire. Fire is the left side, is gevura. This is the fire that's on the altar. Ba'avodas hakarbonos and the avodah of karbonos. So that represents avodah, fire. V'achshav b'tfila b'makam carbon, and now the fire in a Jew's neshama when he's davening, that's in the place of a carbon. V'ikar tfila u'pchenas richuk. Now the main davening if he's saying that avoid is on the left, and tefillah is b'makom karbanis, has to be that tefillah is also the inyan of what? That davening is also the inyan of Yitzchak, of Yira, which l'chura is strange, because isn't davening all about getting close to God? So why do we say, and what is Yitzchak? Yitzchak is the left side, which is what? Is recoiling. Stepping to a distance. Vayara vayanu vayamdu marachik. So he's actually going to say the real purpose of davening is to instill a fear in a person. And the love and all the kiruv is to reach the fear. That the main impact that davening has to leave a person is with a deep sense of yiras Hashem, a fear of Hashem. Which is of the left side, that's the left side pushes away. Ikra, the main inyan of davening is Shema Yisroel. And what Shema Yisroel? Kabbalas oil malchus shamayim. You're accepting upon yourself the yoke of heaven. Ikr, inyan kabbalas oil malchus shamayim, but oil dafka with a yoke. Shua yira v'achno, which is the fear and the submission. And even though v'agam she parshas rishayna dekriya Shema nema v'hafta, and even though the first parsha of Shema, which is kabbalas oil, which is Shema, and yet we're talking about love, and you don't even mention fear. This love is really chesed, but it's not pure chesed, it's chesed of gevura. How do we know that? Because the name associated with the first parsha of the Shema is Shem Mem Beis. The name of 42 letters of Hashem's name, the name of Ana B'Koyach, because Shema Yisrael has 42 words in it. And V'hoyam Shemaya has 72 words in it. Shem Ayin Beis. So V'hoyam Shemaya and a chesed is Gematria 72. So V'hoyam Shemaya is chesed, and Shema V'hafta is the name of Mem Beis, which is the name of Gevura. So the question, however, is asked, V'hoyam Shemaya, we have all kinds of threats. If you don't listen, I'm going to punish you, and so on and so forth. And in Shema, we only have love. And if you try to get a sense of where is God being strict, how is this chesed and this gevura? So it's explained in Chassidus that one of them is the oyer ha-chesed bekli ha-gevura, and the other one is the oyer ha-gevura bekli ha-chesed. It's a phenomenal and interesting, it's an exchange. In Shema, I think the oyer, the light, is gevura, but the kalim is the kalim of chesed, or the opposite. And in Hoyam Shemaya, it's the other way around. I forgot which one it is, but the idea is that it's a mix. Don't think that Shema is pure Ava. He says it's chesed shebegvura. It's a chesed of gevura. The main intention, it's true. Your experience while you're saying it is chesed, but its main intention is ala hepech, for you to come to the next stage. The because you're motivated with love, you feel an intense love, and a desire, the more it's going to affect you, the fear. Because you want so much to cleave. It's so important to you, this relationship. And then you realize who it is, so it causes you such dread and such fear. I guess the trepidation of not being able to be in a relationship with him causes the intensification of the fear. Like it says, Pen yiftel levavchem v'sartem. We turn over to page 824, Parsha Shniya de V'hoyam Shemaya, which is in the second Parsha of V'hoyam Shemaya. Ke'inyan, it's the same idea as Avram Hoylid es Yitzchak. What a Yid has to happen by Kriya Shema every day is that you have to be Avram who gives birth to Yitzchak. If you walk away from Kriya Shema and all you have is Avram Avinu and you didn't produce Yitzchak, it's not Shleimus of Kriya Shema. There has to be a birth from Avram to Yitzchak. Shem Chesed va'ava, from the Chesed and the love. Nerld Yira is born the fear of Pach. And the more one will contemplate deeply the contemplation in the first parsha, the Yispol ba'ava, and he will get excited with love. The birth of the fear will be more. He's saying the stronger you'll feel love in the first parsha, the stronger and more intense the fear will be when you read the second parsha. The main intention of the first parsha is for the second parsha. Ki Avram hoyle des Yitzchak dafka. The purpose, the minute the Eibishter talks Avram Avinu, what does he tell him? I'm going to give you a child. In other words, the purpose of Avram is to give us Yitzchak. That would not be the case if Shema would be chesed shebechesed. He said before, it's not chesed shebechesed. It's chesed shebegevura. As we see, it has mem beis. It has 42 words in it, which is the shame of gevura. There is a situation where there's chesed shebechesed, which is only pure love. Bilti kavana saylades hayirah, where there is no intention to lead to fear. I guess Anshe Knesset Agdola already structured the davening for us so that we just follow along their path. We're kind of moving along the proper emotions, obviously, if we're tuning in. Now, similar to that, so tefillah he's showing is what? Is really fair, distance. And you can see it in the fire of the karbanos. You can also see the gevura. Because gevura is the kavas moel dafke. It was the gevura of the left side. Why? Because it's fire. Achsha noilad min chesed. It's coming from chesed. Shaharei. Where do we see the chesed element? Aryeh shel eish haya oichel hakarbanos. There too you see the synchronization or the relationship of the chesed and gevura. Because the Zohar speaks, the Gemara speaks about that on the Mizbeach there was an image of a lion that was consuming the fire in the image of a lion consuming the karbanos. The lion is on the right side of the Merkava. It's chesed. But yet, it was a fiery lion, which fire relates to the left side. It wasn't a watery lion, it was a fiery lion. And Aryeh Bechlal is Gematria Gevura. So even though he's on the right, Aryeh Shalesh Haya Oichel HaKarbonis. Ki Yidua B'Zoyar, Aryeh Elo Da'achel. Iksiv Pnei Aryeh Yamin, he's on the right. Mepchenes HaChasadim D'Avram, from the Chesed of Avram, Oyahavi. Ulezah HaTam Oya Aryeh Mena Eish Dafka, but he was from fire. Because his main intention, so when a Yid came and brought a korban, first he experienced intense love, fiery love. But he didn't leave the Beis HaMikdash until he experienced powerful sense of Yiras Hashem, a fear of God. Now, from all, the Kohanim are on the right side, the Levim are on the left side. So we know the Levim, which represent also Avodah, Bashir ala Karban, Kolol Mechasadim, also had Chesed and Gevura canal. The main inyan of the Shir was an expiration of their soul. Their heart was racing outward. It's interesting, you would think that's intense love. It is love, but it's still a Gevura diga love. This is something you'll always find in Chassidus, that a type of love that's in a manner of histalkus or men akeli, where the light is departing from the keli, where it's leading to klois hanefesh, where it's leading to, is not an inyan of chesed, it's an inyan of gevura. It's an inyan of fire, even though it's an intense feeling of love. So here's not the subject for this, but I'm saying it is discussed in other places. Kamoya Eish. The Im Kol Zeh, and he's showing you it had chesed in it, because they didn't die. Their song was in a manner of ratzai v'shuv. Ratzai means racing upward. Shuv is chesed, that flow downward. Ratzai v'shuv, racing and returning. Mati v'loy mati, touching and not touching. As stated elsewhere. Because the fear is born from the chesed, King and Avram hoiled, like Avram gives birth with Eilamev. That's miyaminoi from the right, he says, is what? Is Gemilas Chasadim. Eish is what? Is tefillah and karbanos. And then there's Eish das. What's das? Das nitna b'shushan habira. Das, what's das? Das is the law. That's the Torah. Upidish das, ukavam tzoi is the center channel, the Torah. B'yos Yidua, it is known Torah nikra emes. Now why is Torah called the center? Because Torah is called emes. U'kamoshe kasov, karev Hashem, l'chol kairav, l'chol asher yikro be'emes. Be'emes means through limud Torah. We call God, when we learn Torah, we're calling Hashem. U'ba'oisiyas emes, and if you look at the letters emes, hu b'chinas roish, toich, and soif. You have the entire, it runs through everything, because it starts with an aleph, then it has a mem, then it has a saf, which means it goes from the beginning, the center, and the end. That's the middle bar that runs through everything. Aleph beroisha oisias, v'mem be'emtza oisias, the mem in the middle, v'ataf be'soifa oisias, kidu as it is known. And this is an indication. Torah is the center. Goes from one end to the other end. Which isn't the case in the other two channels, which don't go through from Aleph through Tav. It is known. Where do you see in Torah also the blend? What does the Torah do? The Torah is one entity that explains all the mitzvahs. And what kind of mitzvahs are there? Shemin ha-chasadim, the shemin ha-gevura. You have chesedic mitzvahs, like tzedakah, and you have gevuradik mitzvahs, like don't let a witch live, kill her. So that's a gevura mitzvah. Or, I don't know, so many other mitzvahs. Kamoisha zeh kasher v'zeh pasel. Or when we say one is kasher, and we say the other one is pasel. It includes all opposites. The chesed and gevura yachad. Yachtov, of chesed and gevura together. Yishkenu ba, they both dwell in the Torah. Because the Torah is teferes. Shakoidel kama gavanim. Teferes means beauty. Beauty is what? That has many colors. Yachtov. Blending many colors makes it beautiful. As stated elsewhere. Kach, and therefore yesh be'yechoilis HaTorah. That's why the Torah has the ability gamkein la'avriach min ha'kotze, to go from one end, merosh kol dargin, from the beginning of all levels, atzoif kol dargin to the end of all levels, k'moy aleph ha'tov, to go through all the aleph bays from aleph through tov, lefi demad nots shenot tchilasam besoifam, because the beginning is wedged in the end. Ein ze elo bebriach hatichon, this is only in the center. Dafke ki yidua, as it is known, the dailamev. And this is the meaning. These three madregas. Miyaminoi, which is chesed. Eish, which is gevura. V'das, which is teferes. Torah avoid the gimelas chasadim, which translates into Torah avoid the gimelas chasadim canal. Hakoil nimshach mimenu yizbarach, which means that we have to always get it back to what? What does the pasuk say? Miyaminoi eish das, from him, from his right hand comes lamoi, to him. Lamoi, to him, because that's the whole theme of the mimer. The theme of the mimer is that these things can exist as things and we can get lost in them as things, but we have to always bring them back to their quintessential start, which is him, undefined Eibishter, where everything is batal, umevutal to him. You know, the essence of a Yid's Avodah can't be I'm a Baal Chesed, or I'm a Baal Torah, or I'm a Baal of this. That's nice. It's already projected thing. The essence of a Yid is I'm a Mesiras Nefesh Yid. Was will der Eibishter? As I will learn Torah, lerne ich Torah. If the Eibishter wants me to learn Torah, I learn Torah. The Eibishter wants me to do mitzvahs. It's not, I don't take on a certain form of this or that. Because if you do take on a form, that's where you meet Amalek, as we're going to see soon. It's where things are rooted in their beginning, in their source, connected. That's what he says. Kedei, and their point, these things were projected from the Eibishter. For what purpose? The Eibishter projected these three channels. Kedei sheyachzeru, they should return. Lehiskasher molmato lamayla, everything should rebound, reconnect from the bottom up, ba'atzmusai, back to his very essence. V'zeu lamoi. Lamoi means a love to his very self. V'loi lemidoisav, and not to his midos. Chazal say when you learn out, you should daven to him and not to his midos. Don't get caught up in the definitions. Seek the pnimius, seek the inner core. Because not the midos of chesed gevura teferes tatzilus. Take it back to the essence. Because the reason it descended to go down all the way into our physical world, in these three channels, it's only so that we can elevate it. It should be returned again and elevated, the Torah, primarily through the center bar of Torah, like will be explained soon, back into Hashem's very essence, where he doesn't have any form of not chesed, gevura, teferes. Because in truth, all these midos like tzedek and so on and so forth, Hashem doesn't really have them. The dailamev. The kol zeh ubchenas vav shem b'shem havaya. All this is the vav of Shem havaya. The hainu vav midos. These are the six midos agdula v'gvura v'teferes. The gevula gvura and teferes kishen islapshu begimel kavin keniskaliel, when they were nislabish, when they were enclosed in the three kavin. Meaning first chesed gevura teferes, then even going down lower into Torah avoid the gemilas chasadim. That's the vav. But remember we said that every neshama has yud k vav k. So now he's going to spend a little time on the hey. Avol, the latter hey. Avol, b'chinas hey sheb'shem havaya. The hey of the shem havaya, b'chinas dibur is speech. Hanikra hey, which is called hey. Shekol hamidos nimshachem v'nizgalim bo kiyadua. All the midos are flow into what? All the midos flow and revealed in what? In dibur, in speech, in malchus. So let's take a look at a hey. Betzuras a hey, yesh gamkin shloisha kavin. In a hey, you have 3 markers, 3 lines. Shnei kavim hem mechubarim. 2 of the lines are attached. V'kav hagimel mufsak, and the third one is separated. Regel a hey kidu, and this is the leg of the hay. The Inyan, and the idea is the keneged gimel kavin, the Torah avoid gimel chasadim shebemidas. Here's the thing: since dibur, here gewaldig, since dibur doesn't have anything of its own, dibur is only a way to express the emotions, the energies, the inner energies, concepts or emotions and the like. That's why the dibur is set up in a way that it facilitates the general structure of the emotional structure. Since the flow of energy flows in three channels, chesed, gevura, teferes, and again, Netzach Yisroel is just a further downgrading of these 3 midos of chesed, gevura, teferes. The makabel, the keli, is also set up in a hay which has 3 kavin. The 3 kavin correspond to the chesed, gevura, teferes element, and that's why it's 3, and it's being makabel, these 3 things. The Torah, it's ve'inyan, the keneged gimel kavin, the Torah avoiding milas chasadim, corresponding to the 3 kavin of Torah avoiding milas chasadim shebe midas of the midas, yesh gimel kavin bedibur. There is 3 lines in the speech. Lekabel loisam, to receive them. Kishenes meshachem in his galambo, when they're drawn and revealed in it. The gimel kavin shebe dibur, and the 3 kavin of speech. Umashe yesh gimel madregos, there are 3 levels. Machshava, dibur, and maisa. In other words, speech really includes not only speech, but all the garments of the soul. Thought, speech, and action are really what the essence of speech is. Speech is just the middle, but it's the toich. But thought, because what's thought? Thought is just words, a preparation to speech. And action is really taking the expressions of your ideas and making an imprint in the actual world. But it's also oisios, it's also letters. Can you do as it is known? Like we know, for instance, that everything today you can build anything through a printer, and you have to put in what? You have to put in the ICIs. Put in the ICIs, you have all the actions. I don't know if that makes any sense what I just said, but okay. I don't know anything about technology. But everything, a computer, all of computer, everything is just ICIs. And that's where you're getting down to action through ICIs, right? Is that true? Almost, okay. Which they are called Bria, Yetzir, and Asiya. Creation, formation, and completion. Asiya means action or completion. And speech includes all 3. Thought, speech, and action. For example, there is the thought of speech. And then there is the speech of speech. And then there is the action of speech. That's why there's 3 kavin in the tzura, in the image of a hay. Now, why is it that 2 of those lines are attached and the third one is hanging, but it's disconnected? The hay, it's not attached. Not like a ches. A ches is attached, but the hay is not wide. Because the way thought, speech, and action works is as follows. Speech is a direct derivative from thought. Immediately, you can see the connection. You can't say anything unless you have a thought behind it. So the thought is birthing the speech always. You can see that without one. But action is not so close. You can talk. A lot of people talk the talk and they never do anything. It means it doesn't have to follow. It could, and even when it follows, you don't see so much how it's an expression of what you've spoken once, and now you're doing it. But that's really what it is. Do as it is known. That's why you see when Hashem creates the world, you also see that disconnect. Barasiv, Yitzartiv, Af Asisiv. The Rebbe actually explains in a phenomenal sikha somewhere that it's also related to the idea that when it comes to action, because you're going to make it very real and complete it, you have to stop and have space. You can't immediately think, do, speak, and do. There has to be a rethinking and when it comes to action, There's always, because action, once it's action, it's already real outside of your reality. And that's why a person has to, sometimes, however, people all their life get stuck in that space and they never know how to make up their mind to act. And that's not either good. You have to be able to produce a hay. Maisa hua ikar. But, af hifsek inyan. Mipnei she'ena maisa mista'afes bin adibur, because action does not follow speech. Bekiru v'smichas kol kach, in such a close way. Like speech comes from thought. Bekiru gadol, which is very close. Al kein haregel shel ha'hei mufsak u'muvdal. That's why the leg of the hay is separated. Beis ha'kaven the machshava v'dibur, and the two kaven of thought and speech, they are very deeply attached. V'hinei, we're not so far from the end. We have one. I have an extra page over here, which doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4.5. We'll be very fast. We're moving. And behold, yesh hey b'milui aleph. Now, a hey has miluyim. So I spoke about that earlier when I said that Chava 19. Spoke about Corona being called 19. 19 is Malchus. So, it means crown and Malchus because it's Keser Malchus, that's Mashiach. And that's why I'm saying the whole Maimer, that this is a last manifestation of Amalek right before Mashiach comes. It's manifesting Begashmi is Mamish. And this Maimer is going to heal it because we're getting rid of Amalek through learning this Maimer. And I said in the beginning of the Maimer, I'm giving you the introduction now, it says in Pirkei Av, is b'maimer echad yachal lehibaris. The Eibishter could have created the world with one maimer, but Chassidim say with one maimer kemen werden gesund. Lehibaris maloshin brius. So this is the maimer that's healing the entire world. That's why we're learning it tonight. V'hine yesh hey b'milui aleph. There is a hey which is filled with an aleph, because again, the way you spell hey is either hey aleph, hey yud, or hey hey. So there's a hey b'milui aleph, yesh hey b'milui hey. He's not talking about the hey with a milui yud forever, but he's talking about the two miluyim. The hainu hey hey ki yadu as it is known. Bir advarim, he's going to explain what's the second hey that's inside. Now it's interesting. He's not talking about the two hays in Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. He's talking all in the second hay. There is another hay hidden in it. Okay. Bir advarim. The explanation of the matter is in a inyan milui ubchenas hahelem. What's milui? Milui is what is hidden. Shenelem v'tzafin b'davar amizgala. That it is hidden and concealed in the thing that's being revealed. In other words, what you see on the outside, what's hay? Hay is dibur. Dibur is speech. So that's coming out. That's revealed. When a person says something, they revealed it. Finished. No more secret. Oh, but there is something hidden inside the revealed. What is hidden in it? What's hidden? It's like a fetus that's in the mother, that's inside, in pregnancy within the mother. The thought that's in the speech. When you're talking, there is thought that goes into the words. And the thought that's in the speech, that's the hidden hay that's in. And it's not just, here's the thing, it's not just before you speak. A person should, let's say I'm giving a shir, I should prepare the shir before I speak. But while you're speaking, you have to concentrate. It happens, it's a frightening thing that happens sometimes, especially if you're teaching for a few hours and it's late at night. It can happen sometimes if you space away and suddenly you're speaking and your thought got lost, and then you probably didn't say anything to, even if it's just a split second, if you disconnect the thought from the speech becomes very wacky. You have to have this, the thoughts of the speech, they're hidden. In the revelation of the speech, to the ear of the person that's listening. It's called the miloy of the hay, shaladibur of the speech. Hanikra hay tata. It's the miloy of the lower hay, because we're talking about speech. Ki miloy hamachshava bedibur, because the filling of thought in speech, hu behelem gadol, is very concealed. Just like The second hey, most people don't even know there is another hey inside that hey. Only if you learn a little Kabbalah, then you realize, oh, there's a miloy in a letter. The hey has another hey. If you're saying hey, you only hear one hey. But really, when you're thinking, you're saying hey, so that second hey, the h that's continuing after the first h is in the hey, you can hear that second hey. When he wants to explain it, or then you say out both hays. So why is it exactly a hey? Why is it I understand something is hidden, but why is it exactly the same thing like the other one? Because thought onto its own, not just thought that's going into speech, thought on its own is also called a hey. Thought that let's say you're never going to speak, you're just thinking, which is considered the higher hey. In Hashem's name, there's Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the higher hey is bina, thought on its own. And that's also what surah say. Va'adibur nikra hey tata. And dibur is called the lower hey, kiyidua. Va'atamu, and the reason is, Sharei kol ma sheyedaber begilui, because really speech has nothing original. Whatever you will speak in a revealed, first you thought it. First you thought it in the letters of your thought. In exactly their form, as they are. You give a speech, so you know the person, everybody heard the speech at 3:26, but this person had that speech already at 2:26, because he was thinking what he was going to say. Those exact words he had in his mind. Unless someone is already a free speaker, so he gets up there and he kind of allows it to flow as he's going. But usually people prepare a speech. You thought it first. And even if you're giving a speech that you didn't think so much, you thought these ideas at different times. And that's why you can just put it together, b'shas ma'aseh, because you're comfortable. But really, that's the idea. All speech was first thought exactly in those words. This that it's revealed in the 5 utterances of the mouth, and the thought is inside it, because there actually is thought in the speech. The beginning, it was the opposite. What was the opposite? When the person was thinking it, while he was preparing his speech, the thought was loud, he heard his thinking, and the speech was potential. It was there. The speech, the words, the physical words that he was going to say was in a state of pregnancy in the thought. So you realize who's being pregnant in who. When you're speaking, the thought is a fetus, is fetal is in a fetus state in the expressed speech. When you're thinking, the speech is then included in the thought. You're thinking what you're going to speak. They're in the same form, it's just one is more spiritual and one is more physical. That's why they're both called hey. Machshava is the higher hey, because it comes first. It also means in spiritual, it's in a more refined state. And speech comes out, and again it's 5, because it's a hey, 5 powers of speech in the mouth. And the miloi of the lower hay, how do you fill the lower hay is with the higher hay. And how do you fill the higher hay with the lower hay? That's why both hays have a hay. There are 4 hays in Yud Kei Vav Kei. The upper hay has in it a secret lower hay, and the lower hay has in it the secret upper hay. The machshava b'shasha medaber, u'b'shasha choishev masha yedaber hu behepech. The time that you're thinking what you will speak, it's the opposite canal. Ach klal shneim ein ele beis hayin. The general are the 2 hays. Ve'ikar hu ale hayila de machshava. And the main hay, obviously, is the hay of thought, because that's the bulk. Speech is only a more revelation of it, but where is it really? It's the higher ilov, the higher machshava. And if you have speech without machshava, it's what? It's very, very pathetic speech. It's not meaningful speech. The inyan miloy hay ba'alef. Okay, so that's filling the hay with what? With another hay. What does it mean to fill the hay with an aleph? Hu keshebchinas keser elyoin meir bedibur behelim. We're finally getting to the tikkun that I wanted to get tonight. when the supernal crown, when the Aleph is the first level, and Aleph is the same letters as Pele. Pele means wonder. It means the crown. When the crown makes its way all the way down into the speech, that means that the speech is not just filled with thought, but when your very soul is contained in the speech. It's like when Chazal say, when the pasuk says, "Nafsho yotza b'dabroi," his nefesh itself goes out in the speech. When your very being is connected to your speech. Speech is not just containing thoughts. Thoughts is considered external compared to your deepest, innermost being. When we can connect Keser Elyon, Meir B'dibur. Why? How can Keser, that's beyond the entire Ishtalshalos, Keser that is so high and so exalted, how in the world can Keser make its way into the tiny little letters of speech that at the very end. Malchus is the last. The answer is same thing we said before. Ani Rishon v'ani Achron. Because the beginning is wedged into the end, Kidu as it is known. That's why you find that a lot of times when people think, when they're thinking something, they're not going to get so intense. But when they start speaking the very thing they thought, they get so emotional and so intense because here you're pulling your etzem hanefesh. Speech, for some reason, pulls at a very deep subconscious place in you. Speech has that power because it's the last expression. It's rooted in the beginning. It's a whole different level. To have a hay with an aleph is infinitely richer than a hay with what? Than a hay. And that's the meaning of korona. You have crown, aleph, keser, aleph, and it's called 19 because 19 is malchus. Is to bring keser mal Mashiach. This is mamash Mashiach. This is the gili of Mashiach. Shehu oisi is pele. These are the letters of Pele. Aleph is the same letters as Pele. Al Shem Shah Keser, hu mufla u muvdal. Keser is unknown. It's completely eluding any type of understanding of Chachma Kiyadua. Aleph, that's why it's also called Aleph. He's explaining not only the word Pele, but why is it called Aleph? Aleph means I will teach. It's still beyond teaching. I will teach. Chachma is called Aleph. Aleph Chachma. This is I will teach. So it's still transcending Chachma. Aleph behepach asvin ala yoshe nimshach memenu Chachma. Chachma comes from it. Now it's between this aleph, that's what he wants to say, is where Amalek is going to try to block. Remember we say that, what does it say? It says that the Eibishter says, my name is incomplete, the Yud K is not together with the Vav K, and my throne is not complete. My kisei. So it says case, the aleph is not there. Because Amalek tries to separate that the aleph should not come down in Malchus. The aleph should not manifest in the case, in the words. And he's going to explain what it means in us. And we don't allow that deep ratzon hanefesh to consume us and be present in our avodah. So good. Here he only touches upon the aleph for a moment. And over here, I'm just going to grab another candy. We'll take a break for a few minutes after we finish Sif Daled. Now the Vavke of Shem Havaya, its root is drawn and it's derived from the Yudke. The way Yudke Vavke works, that the Yudke create the Vavke. So Hine Hayud Urak Nakuda Echad Bovad. The Yud is just a point. It represents a state where things are still very, very much influenced by the source. Yud Kei Vav Kei is the beginning of existence. The powers, the divine powers that will bring about existence. But ultimately, it's all coming from one singular Eibush there. that infinitely transcends any form of existence. So the Yud is still the state where the energy that's going to go out to create is still in a state of absolute nothingness to the infinite potential power that precedes it, where it's emanating from. And that's why it has no existence. It is infinitely stronger than anything else that's going to come from it, because that's the point where you have all of existence concentrated, but yet it's so nothing because it so feels its source. So it has no definition yet. Hey is when it expands. Okay. An explanation of the matter is from my own flesh I can appreciate godly ideas. When a person has a thought, a thought always starts with one point. If you don't have yet an expansion of length and breadth, like there is in thought. In thought already, you're thinking broadly a whole idea, that's already bina. First, it starts with just a tiny little poof, and then that expands and develops. It's like a flash, and it comes like a blink of an eye. Sometimes you lose it. You have that. That's the point of chachma. When a person has a new epiphany, a new idea. He still has not yet grasped it really in his seichel, in his mind, in the length and in the breadth, meaning to fully appreciate it. The same is also known above. All of existence is first sketched out in one thought. That's bina. To one thought, where you have all the netzalim, all the emanations, v'nivru an Avram, and all the creations. In a state of mamale, then you get into the details, and first in an encompassing state. But he says even this, but this is already a mapping. It's already a full-fledged thought of the Eibishter about everything. And this machshava has already a length and a width. But in that itself, when it's already in a state of expression and a state of expansion, there's two levels. There's a level when it's still vague and all-encompassing, and then it becomes more specified and detailed. So that initially it's called soivev. Is when it gets more down to details. It's called mamala. The general thought is already the supernal hey, the shem avaya, because it has already space, length, and width. An expansion like the image of a hey kiniskliya. But the yud of the shem avaya it's higher from the whole idea of ispashtus of any expansion. There's one point. It's higher than the machshava, the mamale v'soivev. It's higher than the mamale energy that's going to get so specific. It's higher even than the encompassing state of soivev. Like it says, vayatsan, it will go out kebarak, like a flash, like a lightning, chitzai, his arrow. It's called a nekuda. It's called a point in a hechal. Hechal is bina. It's a whole hall. It's a whole room. There's this side, there's north, south, east, and west. There's a whole structure. But there is the nekuda, the point. And nekudas chachmi la the yud. Is it a point of the supernal chachma? Shemispashut b'menu hay, where the hay comes from it, ba'orich v'roichiv. Achakach ma'ayin liyesh. That's from nothing to something as the hay emerges. See, the hay is already a definable existence. You have already, what's it all about? Avala nekuda atzma. If you stop a person right when he has that epiphany, what do you have? I don't know. I have nothing yet. And don't talk to me, because I don't have it yet. But because it's all just the point. And the nekuda itself is concealed in the hechel of bina. Nikra heyela. Yidua shazeh pirish bereshis. Bereshis is that yud. Bara elokim. Elokim is bina. That's already the expansion. V'daylemev. Eliyois kain al derech zeh gam benefesh elikis. So the same is also in our neshama. Haklula m'shem avaya, that we too have yud kei vav kei inside of us. As we said earlier, what's the yud? And the point where a yid has a nekuda within his neshama where he has no existence at all. He's batal and mavutal, he's completely nullified. he experiences the reality of the Eibishter as such an overwhelming truth to the point that he doesn't exist. He's just bottled to Hashem completely. He doesn't even feel anything. But of understanding and so on and so forth, the power of being bittul. What did you touch? What's us to? And now it doesn't mean that there's no contemplation in the state of Chachma. There is. What you're contemplating is just in the quality of the bittul. If you're doing a Chachma meditation, it's how everything is bottled. The Ein Tov Samakam Klal Legabe Yatzmusi is Baruch and has no value to the Eibishter at all. When you're doing a serious hisboinenus, you're meditating on the flow of divinity, Maayon leyesh, from nothing to something, and you're contemplating the massiveness of the somethings that are being created, instead of seeing how there's no such a thing as something. Everything is totally ayin v'efes in the infinite emes of the Eibishter. Nothing can exist. Everything is batal and mavutal. So here you're concentrating more in the dissolving of everything into the Eibishter. Here you're looking at Metzias. When you're looking at Metzias, it creates within the person also a stronger sense of Metzias. Now, here's the thing. It's not Yiddishkeit and Chassidus and being a Jew demands that we move from the Chachma to the Bina. And we can't be in a state of Chachma all the time. We're not supposed to be that way. Moshe Rabbeinu lived that way. We're supposed to be in a more state of Yesh, and over there do Torah mitzvahs and the like. But the point over here is we always have to be able to fall back to that Chachma and always be able to reconnect to it. And we have to always base it on that Chachma. Every day we have to touch it by Shema Yisroel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, so we don't corrupt our sense of our spirituality. Because spirituality itself can become corrupted. And that is when it becomes disconnected from the point, and it becomes very much about my understanding, my biz, and my bad. The yeshus grows. Because you're not at the nekuda pnimis, you're not in a state of bittul and ayin to the Eibishter. And that's all of the Alter Rebbe's teaching summarized. He always talks about this nekuda. Alter Rebbe came to reveal the nekuda of the Alter Rebbe's neshama must be is rooted in the yud of Shem Havaya in this nekuda sabittul. He's being masik something. So when you're masik something, the excitement that it's going to produce, hugam came b'pchinas yesh. I love, I feel. You feel yourself. V'davar mash. And espalas hamidos, you have the excitement of your midos, b'hargasha gedola. And when you feel the midos very strong. You feel that you're loving. Now to repair the nefesh Bahamas, actually, it says you need to have such midos a little bit. Because if you have very, very bitteldig midos, it's not going to affect the animal soul. It's going to be more in your neshama. So you do need to have more such chitzonistic midos, but the point over here is that you can't only have this. That's the point. You have to always go back to bittul. Until you feel that you are loving. There is somebody that's loving. When you're contemplating in a bitteldig way, lo yulad, it will not create. We turn over, and I don't know if you have this extra page. I have a page 828 over here that got extra in here. So we're moving to 826. So if you have that as the next page, then it's good. What did he say? The last words. Here. Lo yulad hargasha saspailas amidis. It will not create a hargasha. It will not create a feeling where you feel your midah. Elerak pchenas bittul b'metzias polvad. Only a non-existence, a sense of non-existence. V'dai lameven ki yadu as it is known. And here's the amazing thing the Alter Rebbe says. If our avodah is an avodah that's based only on bina, not on chachma, it means it's based only on contemplating world and somethingness and lacking the point of bittul, then it causes the same thing above. That the structure of Atzilus and the structure of the entire cosmic structure is also that the midos of Atzilus and so forth become self-aware. They become more of a something. The more something they become, the more the leakage to Amalek. The spiritual powers of Amalek can chas v'sholem, they can leak it. If you keep the midos of Atzilus, l'cha Hashem, like we say in davening, we try to do this repair every day. We say l'cha Hashem hagedula. To you, Hashem is Gedula. We want to take Gedula, Midas HaChesed, and submerge it in the Ein Sof. It's like toiveling it in Him. L'cha Hashem HaGevura. We don't want these things standing outward, but we want them to be submerged, and from their submerged state, and from there they should project in a powerful way. When we have koyach ma down here, benefishal lekis in our neshama, you stimulate the yud, nekudas shanelam behechal habina. You activate that yud, and that causes the yud to bring bittul into the entire atzilus. Shu b'chenas habittul gam kein mi yois mistaf memenu hispailas hamidos. So then the midos that are going to be born from this chachma, from this yud lamaila, are not going to be such excitable midos. V'hainu k'moshe kasav this is what I said. L'cha Hashem hagdula v'gvura, to bring them into a state of bittul. V'yadei hispailas, but the opposite. But if we have hispailas avavira, if your avavira is very much with hispailas, with excitement, b'hargasha, with feeling yourself, mizboinin is belakus, and the izboinin is belakus, ba'asaga dafka with understanding, you're going to evoke the midas being born. Now, these are very positive things. You want those midas being born. But, as we said, you want them to be born in a much deeper, connected state. You do it. That's what he's explaining now. That when the midas are in a more expressed, and if you might say self-aware state, they could create unholy midas. And we said before that the unholy Amalek and the 7 corrupted midas come from the 7 midas to Kedusha. When you do it, the midas fell in the shattering of the vessels. Until it derives from them the 7 bad midas, the Noiga Keniskaleo. Va'amalek and Amalek, Shureishes Azayin Goyim. He's the beginning of these 7 Goyim, Haknani. So therefore he's a what do we call, not just a source I'm looking for. I'm looking for like a campaigner. He's someone that so he's trying to make sure that we forget, that we disconnect from that yud. That's why he's creating that blockers. He's that makif to all the midos, as we said earlier, canal. And Inyan and the idea is, he tries to disconnect the yud from the vav. Now really you should say he should only be making the masach between the yud, not the hey. How come it says that he makes the masach between the yud to the vav? Because I guess you can't separate between yud because yud are 2 friends, they never separate. So there has to be some kind of a connection between the 2. But he's trying to diminish the influence from the yud. All right. Yes. That the nekuda shebehechal, the yud should not reveal itself. There shouldn't be bittul. All he wants is that you should be an intellectual. He wants that the midah should come not from your fire in your neshama, from the depth of your deep bittul, nekudas of mesiras nefesh, but everything should come from your intellect. And then the midas are going to be very much, as we said before, with self-awareness. Then automatically, then there is a support, an energy flow to the 7 midas. The bad midas. If there would only be the yud, if they would sense the yud, there wouldn't be a shirish to them at all. They would suffocate. They would be totally cut off. Since it's still beyond this expansion of length and width, you feel the hasaga canal. Well, and for this reason, he's the beginning of the 7 nations. Because he's the blocker, the hatik, and the case, the encasement. He is what's blocking the radiance of the yudke to shine into the emotions, into the vavke. And he is the one who causes a person's yiddishkeit, emotions, to become self-absorbed and self-felt. where it's very much about me that I'm religious. You ever meet people like that? They are religious. They are pious. And sadly, it's in all of us, but sometimes you see extreme cases of it. Chassidus generally gives a person a haircut as soon as you start learning Chassidus, and that a person becomes, what we call sensitized to this. And when you see it, or you sense, you feel it, this has always been the essence of a Chassidic Farbrengen, was when people came and the mashpia felt that someone was a bissel he might have said it Dvar Torah, he might have said, but a bissel of self, they right away, he got a smackdown immediately. Everybody's, but this self, this Metzias Hayesh, which comes from in Kedusha itself, but if it becomes about, it's not bottled to the kavanah. What's the kavanah? What's the Eibishter's kavanah? And that's always being bottled to what's the Eibishter's intention. The nikra, and therefore Amalek is interesting, it's called tikva. Take means it's a tik, it's a case, vavke, keeps the vavke in a case. And that's why it says in the pasuk, take vavke. There's a pasuk that says, Ra'isa ish chacham be'enav. If you saw a person, it's interesting pasuk in Mishlei. If you've seen a person who's smart in his own eyes, he's wise in his own eyes, he thinks of himself as a wise person, tikfas haksil mimeno. So simple meaning is, the hope of the fool is, you have more hope from a fool than from this guy. If someone is in his own eyes a smart person, you have more hope to get more out of a fool than getting out of this guy. But the deeper meaning is, if someone is a chacham be'enav, which means he senses his chachma, he senses his, even if he has chachma bittul, he knows that he's battle, kind of that. It's like we say, re'uma, look that I am ma, right? So, if someone is chacham in his own eyes, tikvas haksil, the fool, which is the klipa, their hope, mimenu, is to derive energy from him. Understand? Their very religiosity is going to give energy to real klippas, to real negative things. And Avodah explains in Chassidus that if someone's midas are very much yesh, then the very midah itself, after you lose your focus, you're not focusing it on God, it's going to linger and it's going to turn into the same passion, but it's going to become an unholy passion. Because it didn't sense its purpose. If the midah l'chatchila is very much about the one that you're loving, so the moment the Eibishter is out of focus, the midah is not there anymore. But you don't have a midah that's floating just... If most of your love of God is about yourself, I love and I this and I that, then even when God kind of slips away, you're still left with I love and I this, and then it can become all kinds of egotistical loves and desires, and you can become a real nasty human being and a ferocious person. You might even be worse than a person who never loved Hashem and never experienced, because they're not so full of energy and full of this sense of self, which creates this. That's the word. He thinks of himself as something big. Tikva, there is hope. Melinoik ksil mimeno. The ksil can have hope to use him as a feeding ground. We also say v'lamal shinem al tihi tikva. To the lamal shinem, which are the what do you call the lamal shinem? What was the translation? The informers. They shouldn't be tikva. Shouldn't be simply, it means hope. But the deeper meaning of it shouldn't be the tikva, because the tikva is the take, the concealment, the blocking. Vavke, it keeps the vavke separated from yudke. It keeps your emotions separated from the bittul of the neshama. Yispara shal derech zeh can be explained on the same thing. Hu b'chinas makif ta Amalek. What is that makif of Amalek? Is this nartik, this block on the bittul, hamaster umavdil, that's concealing and blocking. Like it says, avonoisechem mavdilim. Your sins are separating between your own elekechem, between your own bittul of your nefesh and your. V'zeu rak b'tnei ruach shtus, the gasas haruach Amalek. It's only the spirit of shtus, the folly of the arrogance of Amalek that causes this that a Yid doesn't sense the bittul. A Yid be'etzem is a bittul digga entity. The fact that the inflation of self and so on and so forth disconnects him from his bittul. Hamachshich b'chinas habittul b'metzias. That's machshich, that darkens this bittul. To the point that a Yid can be misboinen in the Eibishter and all he sees is the world, and when he's being contemplating the Eibishter, he's not seeing the Noilad, he's not seeing how everything is totally ayin ve'efes in Eibishter, in God. He doesn't see how the yesh is bottle, because there's such an arrogance there that doesn't allow to see it. This is the meaning that Hashem's name is not complete to connect the Yudke with the Vavke, because Amalek that separates Keniskalial v'dailamev. Okay, so let's take just a 3-minute break. And the next thing he's going to explain is what's Eina Kisei Shalom, that the case is covering that there is a blockage on the Aleph. In the Vav, you're not getting the Yud. And in the Hey, you're not getting the Aleph. Hashem's throne is Malchus. You're not getting what's even higher than Chachma. Because Keser can't shine in the Midas, but Keser can shine in the Dibur. In the Machshava Dibur, in the actual deeds of mitzvahs, a Yid can have the Keser of his neshama, not just the bittel. Even higher than that can be shining. And Amalek comes and takes away all this transcendental, deeper, essential elements of a Yid and tries to create a sophisticated mitzias of seichel and understanding, and all of that creates a Jew that's a mitzias and allows for Amalek, and that's the whole disconnect. So he's going to explain the kisei, and after that he's going to explain how we fix it. Ki yad al keis ka, which hand it is, and then he's going to do adala yada. We're already sliding right into home plate, guys. We just have to give everybody a chance to less than an hour we finish. Whoever wants to run for the hills, now is the chance. And I don't have Chalent today. But Be'ezus Hashem next week, back to the Chalent. But there are some pretzels and some chips.
All right, shall we continue? Yeah. Doctors know nothing. That's the situation. I haven't been feeling well already for like 2 months. No, I know, but I didn't travel now for already over a month. I'm not traveling. I missed 2 flights in the last 2 weeks. It means I paid for flights and I didn't take them. Okay, good. So me and him can go rowboating together. In any case, let's learn Perek Hey. He should have it for Shalema. Okay. Amen. Perek Hey. So what we learned now is that a Yid be'etzem, in a Jew's neshama, there is the deepest point, which is the point to sense the emes of the Eibishter, and therefore see how, even when you're contemplating a world, you immediately feel how the worlds are not, it's not something you can process seichel day, because anything, when you're dealing with the ayin, with the etzem nothingness of the Ein Sof, you can't comprehend it. It's something that it says, Ezo chacham haroya es hanoilad. You can see it. What Amalek does is he doesn't allow you that vision. He blocks the vision. Because what does Amalek do? He creates within a person an inflated self of, the infection of Amalek is inflation of self. And the moment you feel yourself, you become so disconnected from the true existence, which is the Eibishter and that bittul. So even if you embark on a lot of religious, even if you take your Yiddishkeit seriously and you work and you do, it can be all based and begin in a state of disconnect. And that's a very dangerous state. But that's where Amalek is covering on the Yud. Now he's going to show even deeper. In the Yid's Neshama, we only have the Yud. But there is a way where we access something even deeper than the Yud, and that it manifests through the Torah. And that is, wow, that's the Aleph. Aleph is Keser. Yud is the way Chachma of Atzilus feels compared to the Ein Sof. That's the Yud. The Yud is already something, the Nekuda of creation, the Nekuda of the divine energy for creation, but how that recognizes its source and therefore is utterly nothing to its source. But it's still the something that feels. But then there is the Aleph. What's the Aleph? The Aleph is still the source. Aleph is Aleph Chachma, I will teach you Chachma. So it's not the Chachma. Chachma is the flash. This is the source from where the flash comes from. That means the essential human being that's higher than the flash, that's producing the flash. The Chachma is, imagine if you are the flash, how the flash feels to the source. The flash in its very beginning, when it's still in tune, it sees itself only as a flash and knows its source and therefore completely nullified to its source. But then there is the source itself. And that is melubish in Torah. We'll see the Ratzon HaElyon, the Eibishter's desire that there should be a world and an existence and so on and so forth. Is there any way we can capture and experience that desire, that Ratzon HaElyon, that's before the point? And obviously on that level, of course, there's only Him, nothing other than Him. So where is the Ratzon HaElyon? The Ratzon HaElyon is going to explain is on the throne. What's the throne? The throne is Torah Sheba'al Peh. Is literally the Mishnah, the Rambam, the laws of the Torah. They're the throne. And in the throne is hiding the Aleph. Because where do we get to experience God's desire, what the Eibishter wants? In Torah Sheba'al Peh. And Torah Sheba'al Peh is where the Eibishter's desire is revealed. But most people, when they learn any halacha, are learning the halacha. And they enjoy the halacha, and they enjoy the seichel of the halacha, they enjoy the concepts of the halacha. They want to do the mitzvah of limud Torah, fine. But do they feel while they're learning the halacha that this is the Eibishter's will and the Eibishter's desire? No. And that's the meaning why it's called Case Aleph.
It's covering the Aleph. The Aleph is there, but it's case. And Amalek tries to emphasize that. Amalek doesn't want you to feel the Eibishter in the Torah. He wants you to enjoy the Torah for the sake of the Torah, but not in any way connected to the Aleph, the Rutz and the Elyon. And that's the same thing that has to do with the same disconnect he creates in the soul, that you shouldn't get in touch with your deepest, truest, not intrinsic knowledge, that you know that there's nothing, only the Eibishter. You know it in your essence. The same way he wants to connect you from your Yud, he wants you to connect. He wants to disconnect you when you're learning Torah, and you have a merit to connect to even what's higher than the Yud, and that's the Aleph case. Let's read it inside. Who case Aleph, the covering of the Aleph. The explanation of the matter is you do it is known. The Aleph, I will teach you Chachma. Aleph bin, I will teach you bin. Pirish Melamed, it is teaching the Chachma. Betargumu ulfana. A teacher is called ulfana. If you go to a school, you're going to an ulpan, right? A place that teaches wisdom. Ki yedua. V'inyan amalamdis yedua, and the idea of teaching. Dainu makra moitze askal. For the students that are coming, this is the source that produces the math. It's producing the science. It's producing the ideas. La haskal satinik. To make the child know something. Child goes to school every day, and the school, the classroom is hopefully, if it's a worthy classroom, producing ideas and giving him chachma. I'm not going to a school, learning chachma from any bala chachma. That's the source of this chachma that we're learning from him. The same idea is alef chachma lamaila, above. Even Chachmei Allah, the existence of the emanation of Chachmei Allah, who mebala Chachma, is from the source of Chachma, in which Chachma is being taught from something that is infinitely above Chachma. The simple will and desire of God, which is beyond Chachma, it's the source that emanates the Chachma. It's called the Malamed Ulfana. Chachma is taught from it. Only a ray. Sorry. For Oisi is Pella. The B'chinas Keser Elyon. This is the Pella of the supernal crown. Now the Torah comes from Chachma. Torah comes from Chachma. So, Apipashtes, Torah comes from the Yud, not from the Aleph. But what do we say? Aleph Chachma. The Aleph teaches Chachma. So where does the Aleph teach Chachma? That's because the Ratzon goes into the Torah as well, we'll see. This is the Chachma Allah, Hagnuza b'Torah shebeksav, that is hidden in Torah shebeksav, v'Torah shebalpeh. That's the Chachma Allah. I'm sorry, so far he's still talking about Chachma. The supernal Chachma that's hidden in Torah shebeksav and Torah shebalpeh. It's hidden, it's an amazing Chachma. I mean, when Mashiach will come, we'll be going crazy from one Mishnah, one halacha. We'll be going nuts because we'll explore it Ein Sof. We'll be able, how is it that we looked at these halachas and we didn't realize that they got the deepest secrets of the secrets of the secrets of the Creator, not of the cosmos. It's got the DNA of the ganze Eibishter in there. It's crazy what's there. We will go, it's the wisdom that's there. But there's even something deeper than the Chachma. The supernal wisdom shebachol mitzvah mitzvah. The wisdom of God that's in every mitzvah mufareshas ba'oisiyas haTorah. That's there in the letters of the Torah, not so much in the understanding of it, but in the words. That's the source of the wisdom that's in it. V'nikra Aleph, it's called the Aleph metamanal, as we said before, because it's the source of the Chachma v'da'alamev. The case Aleph, what's the case Aleph? Hainu shita sidre mishnah. The six Sidarim, the six groups of Mishnah, Zra and Moed, Shehen Kamoy case, they are like a container, Venartik, Shemis Alam Venichse Behem Or Keser Elyon. The light of Keser is concealed in them, the Ratzana Elyon of the supernal will, Makar HaTorah, the source of Torah. That means that the Or Keser Elyon, the light of the supernal crown, of the supernal will, which is the source of Torah, where is it? In Chumash, it's not revealed, because in Chumash, you don't know what the Eibishter's Ratzon is. You have a very vague idea when you learn Chumash how the Eibishter wants you to do any mitzvah. You know somewhat the idea, general idea that the Eibishter would like me to tie something on my hand. I have no idea what it is until I don't learn Hilchos Tefillin. I don't have a clue. Until I don't learn the laws of mezuzah, I have no clue. So that means in Torah Shebiksav, as well as I know Torah Shebiksav, I don't know the will of Hashem. After that, I have to learn the halachis of every mitzvah. Sharei kol and yanei halachis. Oh, but that's where. But now he's explaining why it's so. But it's there. Where is it in the halachis of Torah? But it's concealed. Why is it concealed? Sharei kol and yanei halachis and binyanim gashmiyim. You're not sensing the Eibishter's desire over there. You're not even sensing the Eibishter's chachma. Some halachis, yeah, but mostly. You just know this is it. It says in the pasuk, like I'm learning the laws of tzaras. It seems to be so random. You know, black hair grows, so it doesn't make a difference if the nega was there or the black hair. Black hair is a siman tahara by a certain type of a nega. But the white hair, it has to be that the nega was there first, and then it turned it over. Like things you have no idea why these halachas are like that, or why the pisyayin happens like this or like that, and you just know this is what God wants, but you don't know why. But also the fact you can get so caught up in the gashmius of it, in the physicality of it, to completely forget that you're dealing with elokus. Kezriyas tvuah, like planting grains, besed Yisroel, peya kalayim. Learn the laws of peya and kalayim or kedayma. Kedayma zeh binyanin ezikin and the laws of damages, dinei mominus and money, financial issues. Shakulan and b'chinas levushim gashmim. These are all very physical garments. Ma'oid. Ba'olam hashafal hazeh in this lowly world. And even if you study these halachas in Gan Eden, v'gam b'shayre sharshan, and even if you learn these very halachas in a much higher, purer state, you're learning them in their source. Ba'olam hayatzira, in the world of Yetzira, va'olam habriya, and even in the world of Briya, gam ken in yanam gashmiyim. Even the interpretation as you perceive it there is also considered physical hain lagaba olam atzilus compared to the world of atzilus. Achenikra metamzeh case aleph. That's why it's called case aleph. It's hiding. You don't see the divinity of the godliness of it. Kamaynartik the case hamachasa. It's like a concealer that's covering. The gamnik rekise. It's also called a throne. So this explains really case aleph, but he didn't explain why it's called a throne. What does it have to do? Kisei is a throne. Why is it called a throne? Because what is a throne used for? The king should sit down. It's a chair for a king. Now, other people can also sit, but a person sits, it's not a big chiddush, because a person is not a regular person is not so exalted. Sitting down means coming down. A regular person is not so high, so sitting, standing, it doesn't make that much of a difference. A king who's really worthy to be a king, like Shlomo HaMelech, he's way up there. Sitting down means he pays attention to us, to take care, to run his kingdom. So that's the idea of sitting down. So the Eibishter sitting down means the Eibishter lowering his desire into the Torah to deal with, to give us a Torah and to deal with the world, and to channel himself into the world, whatever it is. So that's why it's called the Kisei Hashem, Hashem sitting down. And it's primarily in Torah Shabbat Peh, because Hashem making himself very tangible is through Torah Shabbat Peh. Again, Torah Shabbat Ksav, you still can't be in a relationship with him, only when you follow the halachas of Torah Shabbat Peh. When a person sits, it's two things. Number one, first of all, you're coming down lower, but it's also the place of contact where you make with the chair is your back, not your front. So what that means is the fact that the king is coming down, the face, like the Eibishter said to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Panai lo yiro, my pnimius you don't see. I'll give you access to the back of me," which means in Torah Mitzvahs, for instance, we don't know the pnimius, the godliness, the inside of it. We know the acharayim. We know just the external element of it. Because the king on his own, because when the king is in an elevated state, when he's not revealing from his chachma, from his midos la'avadav to his servants, that are standing before him, he doesn't sit down on his throne. When he's, pondering the deepest secrets of existence, and he's sitting and he's alone, he's not going to sit on his throne. But when he wants to lower himself, and to contract in the quality of consulting or leading his servants, that's when he's going to sit on a throne. He's going to teach them how to conduct themselves. He's going to educate them. He's going to teach them. He's going to. But for that, he has to contract himself, because he has to come down into the petty world of his servants, to the real chachma that he has. It's like silly talk. This is called the back and the chitzonius. That fall down, little droppings, like from a beautiful tree, little fruits that fall down. It's not like the main fruit; it's just what fall. Anything that comes from the Eibishter to us, just little droppings. That's why he sits. He's lowering himself down. And the throne. The kisei is the Markava, it's the vehicle, it's the chariot to the back and the chitzonius. And so Torah Shabbal Peh is makabel Hashem's wisdom and Hashem's ratzon, the acharayim of it, but still it's being makabel it. V'nekras kisei metam shu mechase libchinas acharayim, it's also covering it, because v'zeu kisei case acharayim, it's covering and blocking the only thing the king is giving, the only thing the Eibishter is giving is only from his back. But even that is being concealed. It's the chitzonius of the chitzonius. Because the back itself is chitzonius. And when you have a kisei covering it, it becomes real chitzonius of chitzonius. Why? And when Torah is malbish the Eibishter and clothes God, it's called the throne of Hashem. Because the supernal midos that were enclosed in Isser v'Heter, first of all, that's only the Eibishter's back. It's like the king that's being malbish himself in many different halbashos, in many enclosements. And now we'll understand what does it mean that the kisei is not complete. The kisei is not complete means when you're only feeling the throne and you don't feel the one that's sitting on the throne. That idea, that you're only connected to the case. Since Amalek is the beginning of the 7 goyim, of the 7 powers of Klippa of Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah, who mavdelu mafrida aras aleph. He is trying to separate the aleph. The supernal crown and the supernal will haganus b'Torah that is in the Torah. Doesn't want you to learn Chassidus, doesn't want you to learn Pnimius HaTorah, doesn't want you to learn. He just wants you to sit and learn Nigla, learn just Gemara, forget about Eibishter, don't give me God talk. That's it. It looks like a chair. It's an empty container. All you have is the nartik, and it goes together, because if you connect it to your Pnimius HaNefesh, to Bittul, you sense Eibishter, then when you learn Torah, you want Eibishter too. But if you're not connected to Bittul and you're full of yourself, then when you learn Torah, you like the explorations of just the chitzonius. You like the outer encasement without any Pnimius. It's not that he gets chas v'shalom. The only way to take the Eibishter is through learning Torah, learning all the halachos. But a Yid has to sense elokus in Torah, and he has to want to know the Pirush HaPnimi. He wants to feel the Eibishter's ratzon and limud Torah. But chitzonius of it, it's all disconnect. That's the meaning that the kisei is not complete through Amalek. Yisroel oisem as kisei shalom. Yidden change that. Yidden make the kisei complete. When we draw and we connect the Torah, we draw into the Torah from the Aleph. Alufay shel olam. We draw down the Aleph of the world into the Torah. We dafko want the Eibishter in Torah. The supernal will that's hidden in it. Who's like your nation, Yidden? Goy echad, we're seeking the echad, we're seeking the aleph. Ba'aretz, even when we're on earth. Now we'll understand, what does it mean? Ki yad al case ka. What gives the Jewish people the power to fix the case and the ka? That the vav k should not be separated from the yud k. And the case should not be covering the aleph, but you should be able to have a kisei, and you should be able to have yud k vav k, that the yud should shine in the vav k. What does that? Ki yad. It's the power of God's hand. We'll soon see what that means. It's that power of yad, that hand is what causes it. Pirish case ka or nartek. The case ka is this very nartek, is this very amalek. V'hamavdil shel pchenes amalek. It's very interesting because Talmud you'll learn, the Eibishter is angry at Amalek. He puts his hand on his throne, ki yad al case ka, because that's how he's going to swear to get rid of Amalek. The deeper Indian is, when he puts his hand is, the case ka, that's the root of Amalek. That's not Amalek yet, but that's the source. The kisui of the yud k. And the key and the case that's blocking the aleph, that is Amalek in its shayr. So the Eibishter puts his hand on it to defeat it, to change it. And what's that? We said earlier. It's called case ka because it's concealing the yud k. V'gam nikra case below aris aleph. So it's called case without an aleph. Yisroel, through Yidden, mischaber yud k levav k. We have the power to connect the yud k to vav k, and that's the whole avodah of Purim. Metam shechelek havaya amoy, because Yidden are a chelek of the Eibishter, the entire havaya. Canal is yad al case ka. That's why he says the hand is on the case. Okay. Upirish yad. Which hand are we talking about? Gevaldik. He says this yesh gimel mine yados. We find in the Torah that there's three hands or three arms of Hashem. Let's call the great hand of God, right? Vayar Yisroel say yad hagdola. Vabeza nikra yad hachazaka. The second one is called the mighty hand, as it says also by Tzias Mitzrayim that the Yidden saw yad hachazaka. Where is yad hachazaka? 120. Akev. Yeah, describing they saw. V'hagimel anikra yad rama. Bnei Yisrael yotzim biyad rama. Exalted hand. Yesh lahavin lama biyad hagdula v'yad hachazaka ksiv behem hei hayadua. By yad hagdula v'yad hachazaka, it says by them a hey hagdula, the great hand, hachazaka, the mighty one. When it comes to yad rama, it doesn't say yad harama, it says yad rama. Why is it lacking the hey? So the Rebbe is going to explain that Yad Rama is much higher than Yad Agdoila, Yad Chazaka. And that's the hand that's Al Kezka. And that hand of Yad Rama that we have access to is what puts us in a place where we are immune to Amalek and safe from Amalek. That's the idea. The idea is what does it mean, first of all? So you can explain first what is Yad HaGedolah. Yad HaGedolah is the right hand of God. Yad HaChazak is the left hand. Why is it? But what does it mean? It means love again. The right side is love. But he's explaining it's God treating us to divine love, not to human love. Earlier we spoke about chesed. We spoke about that a person meditates and brings himself to love. It's still considered human because it's coming from your own. He meditates and he meditates on Hashem's greatness and he comes to fear him. So it's a human experience. But there's something else. Sometimes the Eibishter moves away the curtains, shines light on a neshama, and treats the person to God's love. And when you feel God's love, that will create within a reciprocation in the Yid's neshama, that the love is not limited. Literally, it's an infinite kind of a pull. And that means basically it's not coming from your seichel. It's l'mayla matan b'das, and that's called Yad HaGedolah. Let's read inside. It's great love. That's beyond any type of, it's beyond the mind. Suddenly you feel your soul opening up with a pure desire. There's no reason that's you can explain for this powerful yearning. Ve'is chesed, as explains, there's two levels of chesed. There's a chesed that comes from the mind, and there's an infinite chesed that's beyond it. The love that's below the mind, it's called chesed royim in the right hand. It's stimulated and driven by the seichel. That's not called the great hand. When the love is limitless, it's not limited from the mind. It's called the great arm. It explodes, it raptures, it has no limit. And since even though this type of a love is very concealed in the essence of the soul, but it could, however, reveal itself. Belev b'hargasha. You could feel it, literally, mamish in your heart. Kenera b'chush, like you see literally. Sheyachal liyas ba'adam, like that a person could experience. B'chenas aver rabba be'his galos belev. A person can be zoicha to experience such love in his revealed heart. That's why it's called Yad HaGedula. Ha represents it's knowable. It's something that you can know. Hey HaYedua. It is, Chazal say whenever it says, hey, you're talking about something that is known. It's something that even though generally it's hidden, it is possible for it to reveal itself. It's higher than Chachma. The same is also from Hashem. When that reveals itself, He showed her how it is in our own nefesh, how it is above as well. that love of God, that's l'mayla matam v'das, sometimes reveals itself. It's called Hey HaYadua. Now the same will be on the other side. On the left side, there's also the mighty hand, Shebedroya smaller, that's on the left side. B'chenas gevura, which is gevura, smoil doicha, like we learned earlier, which means you push yourself down by feeling how distant you are. We said earlier in hell. But he's going to explain what does it mean. Yada chazaka means that it doesn't come from your own mind. It comes from something, from Hashem suddenly causing you to dread Him. It's much bigger. It's infinite. The person lowers himself very much to feel distant from God by accepting the yoke of heaven. The people trembled. All of this is still below seichel. Because the fear came through your contemplation. But when this very fear comes in a way that's beyond the mind, it's a fear that is literally limitless. Literally, it's a panic attack. It's like love that's beyond seichel canal. Till it's called a yada chazaka. He's giving an example where you see this inyan that a person is experiencing this higher fear. In Shemona Esrei, we say, Ach Kriya Shema. After we already said Shema, we say, Shemona Esrei, Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu. Suddenly we are saying we're lowly, we're sinful. So l'chura, we would wonder, you're davening already. Hopefully you would take care of this dark stuff before davening. Which you're supposed to do tshuva before davening. Why, when you're getting to the peaks of davening, you're at such a high point, you're suddenly again bringing up, the sins and so on and so forth. So the Rebbe says, because this is a type of humility that you can only feel when God appears to you. As long as you're in your own imagination creating God's greatness and fearing Him, that's not what you mean over here, ki chatanu. The chatanu that you did azoi, that is mamish chataim, that's not what we're talking about. Talking about the feeling of the fact that I wasted a second in my life. That's what I'm talking about, chatan. Is the fact that you created me, you're an infinite being, you're counting on me, you're who you are and what you are, and if I get to see it, the feeling suddenly of worthlessness in front of God becomes exponentially deeper and stronger. When you're coming beyond your mind, grasping through your mind, and you actually see Hashem. In other words, He appears to you. You have His galus. In a tipple olav ema beyeser says, the dread will fall upon the person with much greater vigor, till you can't find any merit at all. V'chol tenua kala, and every tiniest movement, kechuta saira, even if it's the smallest thing you did, kepesha v'chet yechashev, you feel like you're the biggest sinner in the world. Ke'inyan, like it says, v'sviva, of those that are close to him, nisara, Hashem is careful with them, even on small little tiny hair things. Shemayim lo yizachu be'enav, even heaven, even the purest beings in heaven, don't find favor in God's eyes. Because when you appreciate who He really is, then you realize that how, even with you trying your best, you're still a major flop. That's how you feel. L'chein amar slach lanu b'shmoina esrei bilvad dafka. This kind of slach lanu you're saying after you've reached the peaks of connection. As explained elsewhere. Once you experience this will remain in a person's heart all day. This higher fear. Even just sitting around for 2 minutes, checking the news, or wasting any other time, just chilling. You suddenly feel like you're a rebel against God. Because like we learned in the other day, the other Maimer, Lesia Meshakela, where the Rebbe talks about this idea that a Yid, when a Yid really realizes how you're sent, your neshama was sent on a mission, and so on and so forth, the very fact that there's 1 second in your life that you're not fulfilling that mission, you feel like you're the worst sinner, the worst rebel. Pesha over here doesn't mean a real rebellion. Elokol prikas oil, any removal of the yoke of heaven, which you're not operating in full devotion, dedication to your job, kamoyred yachashev, is considered as if you've rebelled, chas v'shalom. V'zeh machal lanu malkeinu, forgive us, King. We emphasize, say machal lanu kifashanu. Why malkeinu? The whole point is malkeinu, you're my king, and therefore kifashanu. I can't believe how ridiculously callous I was. Pirish mipnei sha'ato malkeinu b'b'chinas yiri Elah. Alkein mechalanu ki gam prikas oil malchus shamayim pesha mamish yechashev. Even a little prikas oil is like a sin, like the Baal Shem Tov says. Ashreya ish. Ashreya ish. What's the lashon over there? It says in the pasuk, if he's not thinking the Eibush there, loy oven, he considers that a sin. For 1 second missing, not thinking, being conscious of God, that's already a sin. It's a pasuk in Tehillim that I'm forgetting right now. Because he's so close, he feels this pshia, he feels this rebellion. We're not talking about major sins over here. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about very subtle things that you will only feel by Shemoneh Esrei. But where is this coming from? This is coming from getting this type of fear. And this type of fear is called Yad HaChazaka, because it's not coming from you, it's being projected upon you from above. It's the fear of Hashem as it's coming from above. And that's the reason, just like the love. But since it could be revealed in a human heart, it's called also HaChazaka. Hey Yadua. It could sometimes, at times, reveal itself. How can we go higher than this? Yad HaChazaka, Yad Gevura. There's much deeper and much higher, which is Yad Rama. Ein by Hey HaYadua does not have that Hey. It doesn't have the Hey that is indicating that this is known. This is not revealed. Lekach Nikra Yad Rama, this is called the exalted hand. Shem Mugbas Umisnasa. This is elevated. This is embedded in your very essence of your soul. And basically, this is who a Jew is at his core, and you're not going to be conscious of it. We go out biyad Rama in a state of the b'chinas klois hanefesh. This type of experience, the nefesh has to go out of the body. Klois hanefesh, arois fenguf. V'hiskalalusa. Now, I don't mean you have to die. It means v'hiskalalusa b'lekim chayim. There is such a deep hiskalalus, such a deep integration b'lekim chayim in the living God. B'bchinas tshuva ilah, in the state of tshuva ilah. It's as if, the Alter Rebbe explains tshuva ilah in Tanya, it's as if you died already and you left this world. You're completely so, you don't have any awareness of self. You started eingetan in the Meibishten, and you're so. I lift my soul up to you, God. Machshava b'machshava. I have nothing, not a tiny trace of me left, because every thought of mine is filled with your thoughts. Every speech of mine is filled with your speech, and that's how the Alter Rebbe sees the higher Baal Tshuva. Someone who is so consumed because he feels so distant, he wants to compensate for the years and months or years of distance, that he just wants to return himself to God like his neshama was before the Eibishter ever breathed his soul out. Imagine your breath. A breath of a person before it was breathed, where was it? It's part of the person. So your neshama was once breathed out of Hashem. That means it was once part of him. And imagine the Alter Rebbe says a Yid in Tshuva Ilah can live in a body and restore his neshama back into that state. To that degree, that's called Tshuva Ilah. Obviously, I'm not going to say that the Alter Rebbe means that your entire life you can be in this state. But if you can be zoicha to have a few moments in such union and in such where it's not. See, earlier when you're afraid, you feel like a Pesheya and a Moirid, but you're still a you. You feel yourself. Or in the experience, that's why you can feel it as you, as he says. That's why it can be revealed in your heart, because you can feel it as you. Or in the Yad Gedolah, you're feeling such love, you're being sucked up, but you're still feeling that you're loving with a very infinite love. But here we're dealing with there's no more self-awareness. You just totally included yourself in Hashem. This level is called the higher tshuva. It says Chazal say tshuva is before the world, meaning you're not in the world, you're not in creation. And every Jew has access to transcend creation and go into the state of tshuva ilah. Yisroel alu b'machshava, and this is the meaning. Yisroel, creation begins with machshava and dibur, and the Yidden transcend even the machshava. Piddish, oisa ha-machshava achas. That means a Jew. Here's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Where does creation begin? The whole project. It began with, we said earlier, the Eibishter having an epiphany. That's the Yud. That epiphany turning it into a Hey. Fine. But that's called machshava. Machshava is not just a Hey, which is the thought. Even the Yud is also called machshava. Yisroel alu b'machshava means Yidden rose before that machshava. That means that a Jew at any time can pluck himself from creation into pre-existence. Isn't that the coolest idea? Because you really start there, and that's really where your neshama is registered. You're a registered member in that club of pre-existence. It's not like you show up there and say, ver bist du. You belong in creation. You have no existence outside. In the pre-creation world, a Jew is a member of that reality. And when a Yid wants to exit, he could exit without leaving his body. That's the experience of the higher tshuva, and that's Yod Rama. But over there's only Eibishter, and you're just him. Total bittul. Pirish. Oisa machshava achas anal shenespashta mebchinis nekuda achas. The machshava that we're talking about is the one machshava that came from the one nekuda. Ba'oirich v'roichev. B'bchinas soiv v'mamal. That's the soiv v'mamala one, canal. Yisroel alu l'mayla mebchinis machshava zu. Above of this machshava. Al yedei mesiris nefesh b'tshuva ilah. And when you have Mesiras Nefesh with this powerful desire for tshuva, when you go out of your kelim, Yad Rama, in a state of Yad Rama, Kiniska, as we said before. Because you can't experience this in an experiential way, which means in a revealed, in a shuv way. You can only experience this in a total ratzai, a total disconnect, a total removal of everything in a very inward state in him. Because in this state, the general klolus of all neshamas are actually absorbed ba'atzmas oirein soif baruch hu, in the essence of the oirein soif, al yedei tshuva ilah, through this higher tshuva b'mesiras nefesh shalamayla meyudkei gamkein, it's higher than the yudkei. Dahainu, here's the beautiful thing, lebal hanekuda. The nekuda is the yud. You're going back to the owner of that, the one who produced the nekuda of creation. You're going back to pre-existence to be totally included in the Eibishter. Purim is when the Yidden went into that place as an entire people. The Mesiras Nefesh that they had, not to separate from God, took them out of creation into this Adaloyoda state. This is beyond it all. This is where we got to go with the L'chaim on Purim, into this state of the higher tshuva. And in this state, there is no Amalek. And this state, there's no coronavirus. And we bring healing to the whole world. This is the meaning that hand is on the case of the Eibishter Piddish. Yad Rama Hanal, this exalted hand, Shulamayla Miyutke, which is higher than the Yutke. See, Haman, Amalek, they begin to cause problems in the Yutke. That's where they cause damage. But this is beyond the Yutke. Sharei ein achiza l'Amalek sham klal. Amalek has no achiza there at all, no grasp. Ki ein lo yanika rak mebchinas hey kanal. He only has the yanika from the hey, meaning from the hey, the first hey of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's where he starts. Ubiyad ramazu ein by hey. And in this Yad Rama, there is no hey. Metam shehu l'mayla gamen Yud Kei umen Vav Kei. It's beyond the Yud Kei and the Vav Kei. Ulekach yesh b'yecholis yad zeh. So this hand has the ability lo haser to remove mesach mavdil, to remove this partition that separates the case Yudke of case Yudke, the Amalek of Amalek, ulechaber Yudke bevavke, to attach the Yudke bevavke v'dailemev. Zeu, and this is the meaning. Okay, we're on the last explanation. Chayav Inish Libsumei Bepuria. A Yid is Chayav to become, is obligated to become intoxicated in Purim. All the Bachram who are going to have a drink this Purim should have to learn this mimer first, and then they're allowed to have a drink. But first I have to learn this mimer. A Yid, a person is chayiv to become intoxicated in Purim until he doesn't know. But why does it emphasize? It doesn't say just you're coming to a place that you're beyond das. It says you're coming to a place that you don't know the difference of Ar Haman and Baruch Mordechai. You don't know the difference between cursed is Haman and Baruch Mordechai. So what is the meaning? The Hinei Ksiv, it says in the pasuk, Zeh Shemi la'olam, this is my name forever. V'zeh zichri, and this is my remembrance, l'dor v'dor, for generation. So the Zohar, we learned this many times, the Zohar makes an interesting observation. The Zohar says that Shmi, which is Gematria 350, together with Yudke, is Gematria 365. So Shmi with Yudke is 365 prohibitions. And Zichri, which is 233, together with 11, together with Vav K, is Gematria 248. I'm sorry, 237. 237 plus 11 is 248. Zichri is 247. 237. But that's the 248 positive commandments. So you see an interesting thing from the Zohar, that the prohibitions reach higher than the positive commandments. It is known the reason the prohibitions are higher than the 248 positive commandments. To the point that the loisas are touching upon the yudke and the yudke. And the mitzvah saseh are only tapping into the vavke and the vavke. What's the point of a loisaseh? What's the point of a prohibition? Why is the Eibishter telling us not to do? Because God wants to protect us from every type of virus, every type of spiritual malady. So the Eibishter gives us prohibitions, and that will protect us. Now, if you want to be protected, who do you need to be protected from? All the 7 bad midas, all the klippas. And what's the root of all klippas? Amalek. Where is Amalek's power? Amalek derives his energy from the Vavke. That's why he wants to keep the Yudke away from the Vavke. So if you need to eradicate, if you need to protect yourself from all the stinging, all these insects, you want to protect from every klipa, you need good bug spray, you need something really intense to protect you. So what's that? So you need to get some Yudke energy. And that's why loisasehs, which are meant to protect you, shmira, from the chitzonim, from things, have to be coming from the... And that's why every time you're doing a loisaseh is much harder to do egotistically. A loisaseh involves bittul. Because your ego is at this moment in a different place. Your ego is not in trying to be from, usually. Your ego at this moment is... By a mitzvah saseh, by a positive mitzvah, your ego could be in doing the mitzvah. I'm excited, I'm doing something because it's all about me. But when it comes to refraining, even though that can also be done mitzad if it's done very chitzainistic to other people, but generally it's the opposite. At this moment, if you're asking me what I want to sin. God doesn't let me. So in a loisa say there's much more bittul, even for someone who doesn't have any bittul in his Yiddishkeit. In a loisa say there's bittul. So, which means it taps the Yudke more than, and precisely because of that, it protects against, because from the Yudke comes the Shmira. Bittul, Amalek can't handle bittul. Bittul spray blinds him. So that's why the moment you activate that loisa say, you've destroyed him. So the loisa says come from the Yudke, and an asay is when you're channeling godliness. That's already more related to the Vavke, because oiros bekelim, that's the Vavke. K is words, and the Vav is the emotions. You're channeling the Eibishter's energy down. We said before, remember we said the three Torah, Avodah, Gemilas, Chasadim, that's the three channels of the Vav. The Vav has two sets of three channels, like the Vav is like a person, right? 2 hands, 2 feet. So that's the Vav, so in any case, that's the 2 sets of 3. Vav is 6. And the shape, it's double Gimel in a sense. So, so in a mitzvah saseh, it's more Vavke fusion. And that's the meaning in a Yid's life of Baruch Mordechai. Baruch Mordechai is everything you're doing in your Yiddishkeit that's positive things. Baruch, you're channeling godly energy into the world. Arar Haman is also Judaism. Arar Haman is not having a party, drinking beer with Haman. Arar Haman is you're cursing Haman. That means the daily activity of a Jew in which you're refraining from doing an Avera. You're loisase. That's Arar Haman. Every time Haman is knocking on the door, you punch him. And you say, Arar Haman, get out of here. You're cursed. I'm shoving you away. I'm not doing that sin. So our regular Avodah is an Avodah where there has to be Arar Haman and Baruch Mordechai. That's when there is a danger of Haman. But Purim, we have to come to a place where these two things were beyond the Yudke Vavke. So there is no more Arar Haman, Baruch Mordechai. You're going beyond observance of Torah mitzvahs. Of course, you're observance of Torah mitzvahs, but not in terms of you are being an individual being that's connecting to God through Torah mitzvahs. You're becoming so subsumed in the Eibishter, there's nothing but Him, and therefore the differentiation of Arar Haman, Avada, every mitzvah, whatever it is. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. It makes you the same excited doing a lois asay as an asay. The whole thing, because it's all one Indian. The Teichen is, like the Baal Tshuva, he says he wants nothing. He wants only to be subsumed in God. That's all he wants. No mitzias at all. Purim, we go into that place, and that's it. Let's read inside. It's the shmira from the makifim of the yudke. You don't want the chitzainim to be able to take to take energy from where they can take. Don't eat blood. Baruch has explained elsewhere. Cursed is Haman. You shouldn't give added energy liyud aleph arurim to the 11 powers of Klippa, the 11 cursed ones, because it says in the Torah 11 times Arur when Hashem gave the curses, the Klippa. V'klula samu Arur Haman. Haman is the general Arur. He includes all 11. That's why Taka, when he hung up, they hung him with his 10 sons. Together was 11. Ki Amalek Reishis Gayim. He's the beginning of the nation's canal. V'hu al yedei shasalois asay. And that's through the shasalois asay. Aval al yedei ramach mitzvah asay. But through the positive commandments, shu inyan amshachas elokus. You're drawing divine energy down. Bekama kelim shainim. This is a borrowed term from the Megillah. In all the kelim, you're bringing the drinks, the yayin, yayin malchus. You're bringing the royal wines, kelim shainim, into all the various kelim of mitzvahs. Hainu inyan baruch Mordechai. That's baruch Mordechai. K'moy me inyan habracha shabachol mitzvah. Like when you make a bracha on every mitzvah, you're being mamshech. You're revealing God down here. You sanctify us with your mitzvahs. This is benched as Mordechai. It is known that Mordechai, his madrega, is the yesod element of chachma. Yesod is mamshech. Yesod is gives the hashpa. All the brachas and all the amshachas comes through Mordechai, and that's the source of all of mitzvahs. V'dai l'mev. V'zeu v'yikach Haman es halavush v'es hasus. And that's the reason why it says that Haman took the lavush and the sus, the garment, and he took the horse. Why? Here's the nikud. The garment and the horse, these are all the kalim, part of the kalim in which we draw godliness down. Since in a Yid's general observance of Torah and mitzvahs, when we are not in a state of total bittul, but when we are in an exposed state, when we are in a state of mitzias, so what did we say? There can be a leakage from what? From the very religiosity of the person, from the very Torah avodah gemilas chasadim, from the very love of Hashem and all these. And remember, from the vav, from the 6 midas of kedusha, from the 7 midas of kedusha, can derive the midas of klipa. So Haman can take the levush and the sus, which is referring to Torah mitzvahs. He has somewhat a chas v'shalom, a possibility to get it. Until Pirish. Shaydei mitzvahs lo yisasei shem chenes levush. Shem chenes levush v'sus. Sheyesh la Haman achiza behem kishehu mavdil. When Haman is blocking the Yud-K from the Vav-K, Haman has some kind of an achiza. That's interesting. He learns the levush and the sus are not the Vav-K. He learns they're even the Yud-K. There the mitzvah loisa say. But since Aval Kishenes Hapach Shuchal and Hura, when darkness is converted to light, V'lo yesh achiza laHaman lahavdil, when Haman has no grasp, as Vayilbash Haman laMordechai, then Haman dresses Mordechai, which means Haman has no access to these for any self-usage. Lias Kiyah as Toisvis ha'arav amshacha bevavkei meyutke. Then Adarab, the Yutke is pumping into the Vavke perfectly. I exactly understand what he means over here. That first Haman has some kind of access, and now it's turned around that Adarab, he dresses Mordechai, and this idea, I'm not getting it so perfectly yet. Masha Nikra Purim, but why is it called Purim? While Shema Pur hu agoyro. Purim is called because of the goyro, because of the lots. Now he's going to explain an amazing thing. The lottery is really touching on the place of Yad Rama. This high Yad Rama, that pre-existence. Why? Because the lottery is even higher than Ratzon. Remember we said before there is Chachma, there is an epiphany. Then there is the desire from where the epiphany comes from. And then there is a Gairal. What's a Gairal? A Gairal is going to decide what your Ratzon should be. If the Ratzon is going to be directed by the Gairal must be indicating a place that precedes even desire. And that's the essence of the human being himself. It's the essence of God before he's even in any state of moving towards a creation. And at that point of essence, Haman wanted to dig so deep to rearrange the entire cosmos, to change the Eibishter's desire and love for the Jewish people and the whole purpose of existence, to change it. That's why he cast lots. He said, let me rearrange, let me go up to pre-Ratzon, and let's see if the Eibishter can get God to have a whole new desire that God, because we know that the Eibishter himself, evil and good, is absolutely equal. He could have wanted evil, then it would have been a virtue to be evil. I know it's very hard for our minds to wrap our minds around that. It's to us impossible to think, but it could have been that way. The pasuk says, because so I choose. In other words, the essence of the Eibishter's desire for good and the essence of his rejection for evil is not because it makes sense, because the Eibishter creates sense, he creates logic, he transcends it. It's because so he chose. And Haman wanted to cause a re-choosing. Let's now reconsider this whole business. Let's see if we can roll the dice the other way. How did he have koyach? That was that. V'zau ma shenikra Purim, she'inyan ha'polis ha'goyrelu b'madrega gavoya ma'oid, very high. T'hainu b'chenes atzmis ha'ratzin, the essence of the desire, ma'achash al yedei ha'goyrel yirtze boy. Through the goyrel you will want. K'mo shekasam ha'makamachar. Shezeh inyan ha'goyrel b'seirim de Yom HaKippurim. Yom Kippur we touch such a high place, because that's why we make goyrelos on Yom Kippur. Yuvdal asar achai v'koydem ha'goyrel yishneim shavim. Why this sheep, why this goat goes to the Holy of Holies and the other one gets thrown out into Satan's hand? That's exactly the same. The mitzvah is they should be. No explanation. It's just, and once the Goyrel decides it, you can hate the Saril Azazel with all your hate, and you can love the Saril Hashem with all your love. But a minute before, they were actually totally the same. There's nothing different. And that's the love that God has for the Jewish people also with the Gentiles. It's a choice. It boils down to this deepest choice on the deepest level. Was that? And Haman wanted to change that. Lekach Purim v'yom HaKippurim inyan echad u'maloshin goyrel. They both have goyrel in it. V'nei Haman oimes ba'atzmoi. Haman elevated himself lehidamois l'kedushas keser elyon. He wanted to compare himself to the holiness of Keser, and therefore he felt that he can. The hippel pur levana, he cast lots. V'amnam al yedei tshuva yilah b'mesiras nefesh. But we got there before he can mess things up. What happened? Through our tshuva yilah b'mesiras nefesh that we did, where did we enter? We entered into home court. We entered into this space. As beklalas nishmas Yisroel, in the klalas of the Jewish people, harei alu v'nichlalu nishmas Yisroel b'machshava ilah. Yidden then became reabsorbed in the primordial thought, which means the hainu lamayla memachshava de yudke, higher than the thought of yudke, canal, shehu labal hanekuda, that's the source of the nekuda of existence. Kamoisha b'yom kippurim adei tshuva ilah, just like on Yom Kippur through the higher tshuva nasa b'chinas hagoyrol, we do the goyrol la'oirer ba'atzmus ritzaynai ha'pashut, to evoke by, even if chas v'shalom we blemished the will of mitzvahs, we evoke a new will, because we're touching the willer of the will. Through what? Through our bittul of tshuva. Lekach nikra Purim k'moi Bepuria, that's why Yom Kippur is called like Purim. Umachmazeh hurad Haman migdulasai v'hisnasusai. That gave him such a kick, and he went flying down the stairs. Ki nizgalu b'chinas hisnasus ha'amiti. It was revealed the true hisnasus, the Keser Elyon, shehu ga'oi ga'. He was above all those who want to be balagaiva, the Daila Maven, and he was completely broken. In other words, Amalek usually doesn't go so high where Haman went. Haman took Amalek on the highest flight ever to mess with, but the Eibishter took us up higher. We went up through our tshuva. Mordechai evoked that. Esther and Mordechai. V'zeu adelo yoda bein arer Haman leborach Mordechai. Piddish. What does that mean? When a Yid on Yom Kippur comes, on Yom Purim, comes to a state of Mesiras Nefesh, into the essence of the Orin Soif, he's higher than the Yud Kei Vav Kei. He's higher than 365 prohibitions. Uramach mitzvah saseh, and the 248 positive commandments. Shema Shem Avaya. Usually a Yid is very sensitive to the Yud and the Hey and the Vav Kei and the differences between non-doing an Aveira and doing a mitzvah. At this point, he's in a state of just total bittul to only one thing. What does the Eibishter want? Not just the Eibishter want, but he's included in the Eibishter himself. Because Aman is holding on in the Loisa says, that's where he starts. Upurim was galus ha'atzmos. And Purim is the revelation of the ray of the essence shalamayla me yudke im vavke, that transcends yudke and vavke. V'zeu ad yaver amcha, until your nation will pass. What will we pass? Not like we usually read it, amcha Hashem. We will pass havaya. We will go further than yudke vavke. We will transcend yudke vavke. V'chein b'yom HaKippurim says the same thing. Nemar lifnei havaya. Lifnei doesn't mean in front of. It means above havaya titara, you will be purified. It is enough to those who understand. The Inyan Chayav Inish Libsumei dafke. So why do you have to take l'chayim? Why do you have to take a shot? Then they didn't have to drink in Persia back then. They did it how? Through this powerful Mesiras Nefesh, through this powerful self-sacrifice. Yom Kippur, we're in a state, generally in an elevated state. We're already halfway like Malachim. There's no eating and drinking. So while they tshuva ilah, we can do the higher tshuva, and that absorbs us into the state. When this was drawn down l'doires for the future generations, this power was enclosed in the wine. It's enclosed only on Purim. That means the bottle of Zexeneinziger, the bottle of whatever you're drinking, the wine or the scotch or whatever it is, it encloses on Purim. It encloses this from that place of Lifnei Avaya. When you drink a drunken, an intoxicated liquid, that causes the mind, that numbs the mind. Why? Because we're anyways called drunkard. In the time of Galus, we're all drunk. So the Eibishter gives us a different type of a drink on Purim. Ad masay tishtakron. L'chach b'yayin ha-meshaker dafka. With this drunken wine, sheyaboid hadas, that you will lose your mind. Yover l'dei madrege shalamaylam and hadas. All year long, if you drink, you're going to fall to a place lower than the mind. Purim, you're going to drink and bring your mind to suspend your mind. You're going to soar to a place so much deeper than your mind, infinitely higher. You're going to soar to an inseparable place between you and the Eibishter. Be'etzem. Kiloi ef shalover lemadrege shalamaylam and hadas be'etzem. You're not able to come to a level that's beyond das in essence. Kamoishu bisman agolus, when Yidden are in the time of Golus, only by it being enclosed in drunkard wine. That's why you have to drink on Purim. I like that he actually brings it down to an actual drink. He doesn't just say, oh, these are the spiritual inyanim and this is what it means. Just have Mesiras Nefesh. He takes it down to L'chaim and he says, that's what's going to do it for you. But that's the drinking has to have teichen. It has to be with that understanding, with that direction, and then it will lead a person into that place. So the Eibshter should help for sure that this mimer should knock out the corona from the entire world, completely, take from Yad Mamish. I believe without a suffix that the power of the Alter Rebbe, Shneur Zalman ben Rebaruch, and all the other Rabbeim and all the Tzaddikim, so forth that this can destroy it and nullify it completely and reveal the real Pnimius, Keser Malchus, which is, if this is a case, a concealment on that, out. Now it's coming Purim and then Pesach, Gilui of Mashiach Mamish, that any. This was a miracle, should be a miracle, should be a miracle. If you spoke to my secretary, I'm not kidding with you, 10 minutes before the shir, there wasn't an ounce of strength in this body. I told her, I hope no one comes. I told her, I don't know a word of the mimer tonight. And she said, no, you're not kidding. I said, I'm not kidding. I didn't learn it. I told you, I scanned it last week. And she said, oh, people are listening online. And I said, I don't know. I'm not feeling up to it. I don't want to teach. And then, somehow I connected it to the corona, at the beginning. Maybe when I learned it, when I was learning it just before. And I said, wow, this is what we need to do with Mesiras Nefesh now. So you can all be part of something like crazy. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be sending Shalach Manas Corona beer. That's going to be like, that's going to be the... That's what's going to be. But we're hopefully we knocked it out. L'chaim. Imagine who's going to take such a beer in his hand right now. It's taka ridiculous. Okay, everyone. It should be a real freilich Purim and a real eradication of Amalek. It's enough already. It's enough already.